The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
15.
And we're back. It's Crunch Time here on Woodward Sports. The start of our Media Frenzy Week for the Detroit Lions. All week, we will be joined by some of the best in the business, whether that's a media member directly or a special guest related to the Detroit Lions. So it is Media Frenzy Week here at Crunch Time on Woodward Sports. You see the schedule layout for the week right there. Today, on Monday, we're getting Anthony Bellino joining us, host of AB Spin on Sports on WJR, has done stuff with the Detroit Lions, very well-known media member in the community. We love him. Shout out to Anthony. We filled in on his show a couple of times as well. Dave Birkett from the Detroit Free Press will join us today as well. So Monday starts off strong with those two. Tuesday, Jason Kabinda, former Detroit Lion, Danny Rogers, don't need to introduce her. She's done a lot of great things with the Detroit Lions, and she's great at what she does. She joins us Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we got Lions Collective, Justin Rogers and Colton Pouncey, two of the best out here joining us on Wednesday. And then Thursday is the day of the doc. He joins us on Thursday this week because of schedule conflict on his end. He'll join us on Thursday. Along with him, Jeremy Reisman joins him as well. Pride of Detroit will join us. And Chef Geach, friend of the show, friend of the program. Shout out to Chef Geach. He'll join us. And then Friday will be a special guest. It could be anybody. So look out for that. But that's the Detroit Lions Media Frenzy Week here on Crunch Time Sports.
I'm fired up.
Stacked.
Yeah.
Stacked lineup.
Stacked week. And as well, too, we do have I'll throw it out there. We still have like 3 or 4 people that we might add to the list. Big names, too, that we're just kind of waiting for confirmation. We've been trying to set this up for a couple weeks now. The only hard part about it, if I'm just being honest, is one, training camp starts Monday. That's why we're doing this, to kind of get previews of training camp, preview of the Lions season before all of these people who literally their whole life and you know, they take so much time into putting in towards the Lions, especially with training camp coming up. They're going to be busy. So we want to get them before that. But trying to get all the schedules, everyone, you know, the timing and everything. We only have 11 to 1, so we're trying to get everyone there. We have a lot of other people who wanted to do it and want to do it. It's just trying to figure out dates and times. So we might have some ads throughout the week, and as we get ads, we'll keep re-releasing this this graphic that we have, and hopefully we just keep getting more and more guests.
Yeah, it's still fluid, the graphic. So look out for new names. I think it's important. Obviously, we're doing it for the fans, so you guys get to hear from respected people in this industry to kind of give you their thoughts on the Lions season, Lions training camp. It's a big part of it. But also it's really a spotlight, not that some of these guys really need it, but a spotlight on some people that are great at what they do. I think that's also a kind of an part of it as well. To kind of highlight some great people that are great at what they do. So it'll be an exciting week. You're going to want to tune in all week long, every week, different guests. And like we said, it's fluid. So different days could pop up new people that you never expected. But I also want to mention we got Gordo on audio.
Gordo.
Today. For KG. Let's go, Gordo. We appreciate you holding it down, man. Rookie of the Year candidate. We got Caleb Zarnick on the TD as well. Caleb's been just in a blender trying to get it all done for us. So we appreciate you, Caleb, for holding it down. It's a complicated week, but we're going to make it happen. So let's go.
Hey, I do want to say to you, people who are in the chat, if there's someone that you guys want to see in like a Lions Media Frenzy Week,
let us know.
Put it in the chat, and we'll reach out. If there's someone that you feel like we're missing, or you want to hear from that we might have had on the show before, even anyone new, we can always reach out, try and get them on, and throughout the week, and if not this week, maybe next week with the training camp week, we can do that. So shoot us a message or throw it in the chat.
Michigan Go Blue, appreciate the 5. He says, can Bryce Underwood still be a generational level quarterback this year, you think? Well, you know, that's I'm sure Neil, you already know how Neil feels about that. And you've had discussions with Neil about Bryce Underwood, generational quarterback, self-proclaimed. That's what he said. They haven't. He
does. Yes.
So you have to be fair with it. He did. It was self-proclaimed, but you expect a bounce back year for Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. I think I have the bet with Neil. I really did it too. I don't know if I fully believe it, but I did it more so on the side of I just want to have some skin in the game, to where the bet is him to be in New York as a Heisman candidate. In his career as a Michigan Wolverine.
That's a bad
It's more so, it's literally, it's just to have skin in the game. I want to be able to have skin in the game. Do I think it's going to happen? If I had to guess, it's probably like 60-40 no, which is fine. But at least I have skin in the game, and it does suck hearing that. And then obviously everything at Michigan right now. The announcement today of Warde Manuel. For people who don't know, Warde Manuel will be stepping down as the AD at the end of the calendar year. So basically just when football season's over, Warde will officially step down and he is out.
Which we it's been a discussion whether or not he was going to. He did the hour-long, basically, podcast. I don't want to call it a press conference. It was kind of a sit-down where he kind of went through all the stuff, which, when that came out, I think our feeling was, well, maybe there's a chance that, he ends up staying. Nope. He's out at the end of the calendar year, which to no one should be a surprise to nobody. This is should be the new era for Michigan athletics. With all the stuff that happened underneath Warde Manuel's umbrella, this should kind of be the purging, the fresh start to hopefully, to what you say, still win championships, national championships, but have someone else in charge that won't have all of these things consistently just kind of fall at the wayside. Where, you look back and you're like, oh, yeah, you got Sherrone Moore. What happened with him? Someone's suing the school. The victim, Paige, is suing Michigan. You got all these other things going on, the cheating allegations, which I know all this stuff has happened under Warde Manuel. So it tells you how they feel about him, and they're ready to move on.
Yeah, it sounds like, too, like all the information that's coming out that they're saying that there wasn't anything on his end. I think this is just my thought. I could be so wrong on this. I think the reason he's stepping down is just like it's kind of that point of this is just getting too much. Like it's the black cloud thing that I always talk about, and it's becoming that with Warde Manuel. Whether he did something wrong or right, a lot of things happened under him, and whether he knew about them or didn't, things still happened underneath him, and it's always going to be a thing until he's out. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be that conversation. There's always going to be something where there's an issue, and people are going to go at Warde, and people are going to be, whether it's fans, real investigators, the NCAA, people are constantly going to be having Michigan in a microscope with Warde Manuel at the helm. And I think this is one of those moves where Warde's like, you know what? I'll finish this year out and I'm out because, like, this is just too much for me. And he mentioned it, too, in that podcast that he did. It's a lot for him and his family as well. Like, it's a lot that happens, whether, he's like, I've been fired 10 times on social media the last year, and I've never been fired, actually. So, yeah, I can see why it's tough on his family. He's probably just kind of tired of it, and I'm sure Michigan is as well. So it's probably a mutual thing where it's like, hey, let's just end this thing. Let's get a new AD in here and move on.
Real quick, though, I feel like as a Michigan fan and just, like, growing up and also just what I've heard from, my parents that have been Michigan fans and family and all that, there really is no success with Michigan without a little bit of controversy. So I think if Michigan continues to be successful, I feel like the whole goody two-shoes, leaders and best thing, that's long dead. After you've won these last two championships.
Yeah, but to be fair, though,
that's long dead. So
that's every winner in college football or college sports. Like when Florida was winning, guess what?
Yeah.
There was controversy. When Ohio State was winning, there was controversy. Like
Alabama
controversy.
And that's kind of my point.
Everywhere.
Michigan, like
Stanford.
when we sucked, there wasn't any controversy, not really. But when we started getting to a championship level in both sports, then you started to hear about these things. So I think even after a Warde Manuel, I still believe that no matter what, if you're winning, there are going to be people that are trying to put shovel up mud on your name.
And I think from Warde's perspective as the AD, like, your job is to win, and they did a lot of winning with him at the helm. Now the question I asked with Tarik Arnold, and the biggest thing I brought up, not that they're directly comparable, but with Tarik Arnold, it was, hey, what did I say? Is the juice worth the squeeze? I'm bringing that back. And with Warde Manuel, you've said this a lot on this show, probably not. Probably not worth the squeeze because you believe they can win with another AD. So
I think
is the controversy worth the squeeze? To you, no, and I would actually side with you on that. I do not think.
I think they can win with any AD. Like the AD is not. Again, I've said it before, and this will be my final thing with Warde Manuel. He's won national championships with you. When did you start winning national championships? It was when the NIL era came around. It was the transfer portal era. Michigan has the money. Warde Manuel isn't the one ponying up the money. He doesn't have the billions of dollars. It is the alumni and different people from Michigan. So you bring another AD in here, guess what they still have? They still have the money that Warde had, and they still have the connections. We've said it before, like John Beilein, we were told that John Beilein was a big reason why Dusty May chose to come to Michigan, right? Warde didn't even hire Jim Harbaugh as the head coach of the football team. So, like, there was constant things there going on to where it's like, hey, you can go get another AD. Warde isn't the reason you've won all these championships at the end of the day. He's not. Did you win with him? Yeah, you did, but he's not the sole reason. You can still go out and find someone. So yeah, I'm fine with them moving on. I've been, by the way, and you know this, I've been fire Warde Manuel for years because of all these controversies.
You've been consistent. You know who else has been consistent? You on the Tigers. Because
let's get into it.
By the way, I do want to mention this. Like Sean Bellino, by the way, did the show by himself solo. You know, Terry Foster was supposed to fill in. He had a family emergency, so he wasn't able to. Neil's out on vacation, so Sean stepped in and did it by himself. Shout out to Sean Bellino, bro.
Solo. Yeah. Called ISO.
Did the ISO solo show. So big shout out to him. He crushed. So check out Big D Energy and check out what he did. But he also posted in the group chat, the Woodward Sports 2.0 group chat, and he said this: do you think the Tigers can go 38-25 the rest of the way? That's what they need to do just to get to 84 wins. The guess is 84-85 gets you in. And that isn't promised. But 38-25. And there's actually people in the group chat, you know, that were saying yes.
The majority of the people in the group chat were saying, he said Y and N, and majority of people were saying Y. And I don't actually see a no. I'm looking here now. Who said no? I don't see a no in this. So this was a thing where it was like a month ago when I was saying yes, this can happen. Everyone was calling me crazy. Caleb, KG, who's not here, but I don't see anyone in that group chat that said no all of a sudden. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, everyone's saying
yeah. And this is after a loss as well.
Yeah, after a loss. But the thing is, and this is the issue that I have all the time, because there are people like maybe Sean. I didn't really get to listen to Sean this morning on it, so I don't know where he was at. But Caleb was like this last week. KG was like this last week when they went on an 8-game win streak, and then they lose, to where they lose that one game or 2 games, and everyone starts like freaking out. But they forget that there was an 8-game win streak, or in this series, they actually won the series, to where people are like, oh, there's a loss. Oh, no, they're back. They're not back again. They're the worst. This is exactly what I've been telling you. What do you mean? What do you mean? They just won the series.
Okay, well,
they gained ground at being below 500. They did not. They did. So like for me, it's like, hey, they are gaining ground still.
They're 11-15 in their last 15 games, and they've only gained 2.5 games in the AL.
And guess what?
It's a tough uphill battle.
It's a tough uphill, but they just keep winning and they keep finding ways. So you know what? I'm the biggest yes. And I was the first yes. I'm going to throw that out.
I think Neil's comment was interesting because Neil said in there as well. He dropped they went 2-1 and they lost ground in the wild card.
Yeah, well,
but that's not going to happen the whole time.
No, but that's where Sean was saying like even if you get to
days.
those wins, it's not promised. Well, go ahead, Caleb.
No, I was just going to say real quick that the 83 or 84 win thing, I know that's the number. That's kind of the magic number a lot of Tigers fans have been looking at. That's not what it's going to be. It's going to be around 87, 88 games. The Red Sox are on a 13-game win streak. They're 2 games above 500 right now. The Orioles have won 7 games in a row. So even though you're winning a lot of ball games and you're hot, other teams in the American League are playing better baseball than you that are in the wild card race. And if you want to win 86, 87 games, you could only lose 2 more series throughout the season. And that's a difficult thing to do. Yeah, you might sweep a team and you might get swept. This is a serious uphill battle. Even though they're playing really good baseball and they're making up some ground, this is a serious uphill battle for the Tigers that I just don't think that they're able to climb.
Real quick, to tail that, however, when I look at the AL Central and I look at Minnesota, Chicago, Cleveland, they are not teams that scare me. I think out of anything, at least one of those teams are going to fall off the face of the standings. Like I have a feeling that we've watched Chicago go on a historically bad run. We've watched Minnesota, crumble you're watching a building implode. I think one of these teams in this AL Central is going to nosedive, and I think it's going to happen sooner than we think.
Let's talk about a place that I trust, and maybe the Tigers you don't trust to get back in or get into the playoffs, but I trust Planet Fitness to take care of my health, because for $24.99 you can get a black card which allows you to get all the benefits offered at Planet Fitness. And I'll tell you this, if you got a child or a little brother or sibling, whoever that's 14, 19, they can work out at Planet Fitness for free all summer long. Register online at Planet Fitness. They got over 60 locations through Metro Detroit, so they're close to you. Check them out.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Thrive Energy Pouches give me the energy and clarity to find and beat the shit out of every opportunity that shows its face.
Live and direct, I'm back on set action. Create the wave, we can it, boss. 'em. Light cord swinging, get your head chopped. Point blank, dead stop. 16 bars in a headlock.
Thrive Energy pouches are for the people who actually want to win, not for the crybabies out there who are happy with a participation award. There's zero sugar, so give Thrive a try.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
All right, this marks the 15th year anniversary for the Founders Brewing legendary all-day IPA. Make sure you guys go check it out. It's citrusy, it's crisp and refreshing with the perfectly balanced taste at 4.7 ABV. This drink, it is built to go the entire distance of the game. Whether you're on the golf course, watching a Tigers game, whatever you're doing, it's built to go the distance. And right now as well, you can get $5 shorts at any Art and Jake's locations in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Go check that out. Go get an all-day IPA. And as well, please drink responsibly.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports, and you guys know we introed it at the beginning of the show. This week is a massive week. You got Detroit Lions training camp coming up, and we thought it'd be a great idea to have an entire week of some of the best in the city of Detroit that either cover the Lions, talk about the Lions, or associated with the Detroit Lions for the people, and to showcase their talents as well. To start us off, the first person, good friend of ours, and he's done a lot of great things for us, taking care of the boys, and we love chopping it up with him. Anthony Bellino, WJR Radio, AB Spin on Sports, BCSN Sports. I mean, the guy has 47 jobs. He's a grinder. Anthony Bellino. Hey, by the way, Anthony, before we start, could you turn the camera the other way? Could you turn it? Oh, he's driving.
I mean, I could try.
I mean, actually, it's probably better if we just leave it like this, to be honest. We want you safe, bro. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I can't believe I mean, this guy. Where are you off to right now? Where are you going?
So today we have the Sparky Anderson Catch Charity Outing. I think it's like year 37, and then Lomas and I are going to do sports wrap on WJR afterwards. So when Booner reached out to me and we were trying to get this whole thing up, I said, yeah, let's do Monday. Monday will be great. And then he texted me, he said, are you ready to go in about 30 minutes? And I said, oh my God, today's Monday. Yeah, let's do it from the car. So I won't be able to look at you, but we're eyes on the prize here. I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs running through the hole, but life is good, man. Life is good.
I think you might be the most busy person in Detroit sports media. The number one.
I don't know if I really want that title anymore. I think I'm good there. I did get the day off at the family grocery store to go play golf, so that's a huge positive because usually I'd be cutting meat at this time right now. So that's a huge positive. But no, man, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Also, by the way, for showing up at Lomas's golf outing last Monday, man. Great success. I saw Jeff got a great photo with the legendary number 75, so that was awesome to see. And, for you guys to come out and bring the whole crew out there to do multiple shows, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. It was a lot of fun out there. I mean, Lomas is the man, dude. We caught up with him, and he was having a good time. You called it. He was having a good time. But guess what? He was still spitting facts, though, when we interviewed him. I mean, so it didn't even faze the big fella. He was locked in. So it was great. It was great.
That's what it's all about, and he doesn't usually partake like that either. So it was good to have him, get a little sauce in him. You know what I mean? That's good. Keep him regular.
Well, Anthony, we'll start off. I want to get, this is kind of the vibe of the week here, asking everybody. But for you, we'll start us off like just the vibe for you for training camp, your excitement level. What are you looking forward to see? Just early feelings as we're creeping closer to this Detroit Lions season, but just specifically for training camp. What are you excited to see?
I'm excited the most about just getting the guys back to what the former Dan Campbell sort of mantra was. I think, he's talked a little bit about this as well, of kind of getting back to what Lions football was all about. We got to get that gritty mentality back. We're no longer the darlings. We kind of made it through that phase. I think that's going to be the Carolina Panthers this year for whatever reason. And then we were kind of the heavy favorites, and then we got it kind of kicked around a little bit. So I'm really interested in this team kind of getting back to what they once were. And that was like gritty, kind of kick you in the teeth, playing angry, road graders, getting down the field. And this team getting sort of back to that hunger that they really once were very much known for, to be honest with you.
What do you think, Anthony? I got to ask you about the defensive side of the ball. That's like I'm sure you're in the same boat as us, where we're like magnifying glass on this defense, because if you want to win a Super Bowl going into this year, that's the side of the ball that needs to kind of step up and perform. They added guys like Derek Moore, which you work at Michigan and do their games, so you're probably very familiar with Derek Moore. Can you talk about where you're at with the defense with Hutch, Derek Moore, kind of those two off the edge as well?
Yeah, and I'm excited about DJ Wanham as well. I mean, obviously Brad Holmes, when they decided to move on from Al-Qadim Muhammad AQ and they decided to go with DJ Wanham, obviously they saw something there that they really liked. And, to move on from AQ, obviously with all the success that he had, what is the ramification that Aiden Hutchinson can have on the opposite side, because so many people key on Hutch. So what does that mean for DJ Wanham? What does that mean for Derek? And what does that mean for the interior? What kind of step will we see for Tyleik Williams? What kind of step will we see for an Aleem McNeil, who's going to be healthy this year? Levi Onwuzurike, kind of cross your fingers there. But then also at the next level, I mean, I think that we got a guy in Jack Campbell, right? And we know how particular that middle linebacker position can be, what that can mean for your defense as a whole. When you start to look back at some of the great Super Bowl caliber defenses and what they had in the middle, if you want to look at a guy, like a Luke Kuechly in Carolina, if you want to look at, Derek Thomas, you want to look at Zach Thomas, or Derek Brooks, pardon me. If you look at middle linebackers across the board and what that can be, Ray Lewis, how that can really anchor and change the entire outlook of your defense. But then also, I think we all have a collective concern about the overall health and the overall depth of our secondary. So if we can get to the quarterback with 4, and that's where, Derek will, and the addition of DJ Wanham, obviously Hutch is going to have to be productive. But if you can get to the quarterback with 4, it makes everything else easier for the back end of that defense. But cross our fingers, Kirby's knee is healthy. What will Brian Branch look like? We all saw the videos of him flipping tires in a parking lot. So, I mean, I hope that's a good thing. Like, maybe that's a good sign. Flip some more tires and, get back as soon as possible. I know the coach said, anything before December is a gift. So we kind of cross our fingers and hope that, he comes back. And if he's anything close to the player that he once was, then that's a blessing right there.
Well, Anthony, I want to ask about Jahmyr, because, I've had my fair share of criticism for my running back take and how I'm not, necessarily fond of paying them. But Jahmyr...
Oh, you're so stingy, Jeffrey. Why are you so stingy? Pay the man.
Well, this is where, perfect transition, because, there's inklings from the other network that there's maybe been a vibe or a feeling that Jahmyr may hold out, even though he's got basically this year and the 5th-year option. If that's potentially the case, and we're asking why hasn't the deal gotten done, I tend to side with the Detroit Lions. I don't think there's a rush to get this done, especially if you're Brad Holmes, given what's kind of there, and you do have to see him be a bell cow. We haven't seen that yet, but what's your take on it? I see the vibe from you already, Anthony. You say pay the man. Is that where you're at right now? Why haven't they paid him, or are you cool with kind of letting this thing ride for a little bit?
So you extend him with the 5th-year option, right? Because he's a first-round pick. So that 5th year comes in at, I think off the top of my head, looking down 75 right now, I think that comes in at like $14 million and change.
Yep.
And I think that for me personally, the sooner you get that deal done, the sooner it puts pressure on Atlanta with Bijan Robinson, because I think whoever signs that deal first sets the market, and we know it's going to come in around $20 million. We also know that the new TV rights deal is going to come in. It's going to make all this contract money kind of just, ancillary at that point, because there's going to be a new influx of cash that's going to come in and reset the entire salary cap in general. I think that what Jahmyr Gibbs gives you, both in the run game and in the pass game, especially behind an offensive line where you look at, you draft a true right tackle in Blake Miller on the right side. You slide Panay left. I have no concerns there whatsoever. I think that elevates the play of Christian Mahogany at left guard. I think Tate Ratledge is a monster at right guard. And then you got Cade Mays at center, which is an upgrade. That's not a shot at Graham. We just know that Graham didn't want to play center, and he was asked to do it. And we were you look at our front five last year and you compare Jared Goff's stats across the board, it's like that guy behind that offensive line was still playing like crazy. And I get the apprehension here with Jahmyr Gibbs and the total number of games over 70 yards last year. Yeah, it was a real struggle last year trying to run the football, but you look at his overall numbers and it's like, well, how does any of this make sense? It's like because you had a couple of games where he just exploded. I think behind a revamped, reworked offensive line, plus getting Sam Laporta back, have legitimate 1, 2, and 3 options at wide receiver, and Drew Petzing, an offensive coordinator, which everybody seems to love, and you know what he did with Trey McBride, tight end in Arizona, percent healthy. He's going to have this year. I mean, this offense be going nuts. Pacheco's going to be running like he's angry at the turf for under $2 million. Gibbs is going to the moon, Jeff. We're going to pay this man. I don't know when it's going to happen. Earlier, he gets already gone more auction than what his value in the first round. I think you start to look around at what other running backs make. And I think that if you're Jahmyr Gibbs, it's like, yeah, I've outperformed my contract to date. You pay him early, you get him for 4 or 5 years, and then you're taken care of. In that, I think it's a good situation for everybody.
Well, Anthony, this comment here, Detroit Dabber says Gibbs' contract has to be more buttoned up than Anthony's shirt. Is that fair?
Button it higher, tighten it up higher. You know what I'm saying? The problem is the Callaway golf shirt, I don't know what happened. The collars get all loose. I can't be all blown out. You know what I mean? I can't be all stretched out all over. I got to be nice and tight, like my drives down the fairway. You know what I mean? I got to be nice and tight.
Hey, that's fair. Hey, I want to ask you here. I just want to stay on the offense, Anthony. Drew Petzing kind of coming in, new OC last year. Was kind of a disaster a little bit with John Morton. You've been around kind of the team and some of these guys at times, so you kind of probably have a good feel of what those vibes were like from Ben Johnson to John Morton, and then what they're hopefully going to be with Drew Petzing. What is your expectations for him? What are you looking at with Drew Petzing and saying, hey, I want to see this when I'm out there in training camp and getting into the season?
I think the most important thing that I want to see is back to when Ben Johnson was the OC, which was cohesion, understanding, everybody rowing in the same direction. I think that when John Morton was the OC, not a knock at him, but it just kind of looked a little bit predictable and almost a little bit sort of like dysfunctional at times where, yeah, it's predictable, but it didn't look like the offense had the same sort of identity, the same sort of structure. Like the defense knew it was coming because we knew what was coming. And when we know on the sideline, like, hey, it's, you know, it's 1st and 12 or 1st and 15 because there was a penalty or whatever the case may be, like we know exactly what's coming next. That's a serious issue. I think that when Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator, there was such a rhythm and such a flow that the offense looked so comfortable, and there was such a level of belief. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to lie, I was all bought in when we dropped 52 or whatever it was against Chicago. I thought for sure that, hey, we got it. We're on pace. Like this is the Green Bay game in week 1. That was an anomaly because we didn't have the preseason reps and we were just in a little bit of a out of sync and in a funk. And then the Chicago game happens, and here we go, firing on all cylinders. We never quite looked right. I'm looking for this offense to look a whole lot more like we are in cohesion, and everybody knows exactly what's going on with some of those same sort of wrinkles in it that keeps us a little bit on the edge, a little bit unpredictable at times where it's like, yeah, there might be – I don't need – Jamison Williams throwing, wide receiver passes in a playoff game against Washington. I don't necessarily need to see that. But at the same time, I would expect to see some surprises and some wrinkles in there as well.
I want to ask you, Anthony, about the NFC North. So the Bears last year, they had a great year with Ben Johnson, and many people expect them to kind of regress. They had a lot of those one-score games, a lot of turnovers. The Vikings, they added Kyler Murray. You got JJ over there backing him up. And then the Packers are always going to find a way to at least be somewhat relevant, even though people are hyping them up too much this year, in my opinion, with Micah coming back about a month into the season. But how do you feel about this division and the confidence that the Lions are kind of back to winning that NFC North for really multiple times now under Dan Campbell?
Yeah, I mean, tough, concerning. Chicago, I think that what's interesting about Ben Johnson is, they're building their offense a lot like what Ben Johnson had here in Detroit, which I think is very concerning. You got 2 very capable tight ends. You have weapons on the perimeter. They've, put a lot of emphasis on the offensive line. I don't believe in their quarterback, very much, but that offense is very similar to what we had here. Green Bay is Green Bay. They're typically tough. They got some questions off the field at running back, but what will Tucker Kraft be coming off of his injury at the tight end position? And they've had a little bit of a changeover at wide receiver. And then Minnesota, the offensive line is good. They're dangerous at wide receiver, but you got Kyler Murray back there and in a battle with J.J. McCarthy. And I don't think those two quarterbacks, despite what the reports say, I think they're battling it out. I don't think they necessarily need to like each other. They're working for a starting spot, so maybe there's some dysfunction there, but somebody's got to win the job, right? And, J.J. didn't look great last year, and Kyler Murray, hell, he's the only person I've seen ever get knocked out by a football hitting him in the face. So who knows? You know what I mean? I don't really know what to expect there. But he's got Justin Jefferson, and that's a serious issue. I think this division is very, very competitive. I think top to bottom, in comparison to, we don't have, if you look at the NFC West, they still have the Arizona Cardinals, who are a mess, right? But they do have the top-end teams like Seattle, like L.A., like San Francisco. Those are very, very good teams. But they have that one team that's kind of that brings them down, which is Arizona. I think top to bottom, we are as competitive as any division in football. This division is a massive, massive challenge. I don't think it's a cakewalk. People talk about the Lions getting the fourth place schedule. That's great and all, until you got to play the games. Everybody out there is a professional. You have to go out there and win the games. We have a stretch of games within our schedule in which we go, I think it's to Miami, and then we go to Germany, and then we come back home and play Tampa Bay. I think it's some sort of mix like that. We've got some stretches of football that, okay, the opponent on the other side might not be, a bunch of world beaters and the defending champions, but at the same time, the travel's going to be difficult. The other guys are paid too, and you have to go out there, you have to execute, and you have to perform. So, sure, the fourth place schedule looks nice, but you have to take care of business, and you have to do so in your division, and you've got that road game at the end of the year outdoors. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge.
Hey, Anthony, I'm going to throw you on the spot here just a little bit. We're going to do this with every guest this week.
Do it.
Record prediction,
yes.
And as well on top of that, where do you think that, how far in the playoffs do you see this current Lions team going on top of the record prediction as well?
I like a 12-5 or a 13-4 kind of mix right here. And I always tease Lomas all the time. I'm like, we're going 16-1, 17-0, and he just shakes his head at me. You know what I mean? Because I like to get his juices flowing, aggravated.
I think we've lost.
Did we lose him?
I think we've lost him.
No.
No, right.
I think we lost
right
him.
in the.
He went right into a tunnel. Hopefully he's okay over
Try to
there.
reset it, just right.
If we lost,
We got the record prediction at least. We just don't know. I hope that isn't like a bad omen to losing in the first round of the playoffs.
He's about to say a
no.
Super Bowl, and they just cut him off.
the
The internet was like, "Nope, you're not doing that."
The behind the
Did
scenes.
it look like
the
we
Lions
lost
just
him,
cut him
Caleb?
down.
He's still on. I think he's just.
Can you see him over there? Is he talking or?
No, he's not.
We probably lost him then. It's
12-5, 13-4.
That's okay.
We got that.
We can go back, Caleb. We can go to 2 cam here, or just yeah. We appreciate Anthony Bellino. I know he was on his phone there, so must have lost connection, but he does great work. He takes care of the fellas all the time, so we owe him a lot. So he does a lot of great stuff. So check him out. AB Spin on Sports on WJR. But yeah, he's 12-5, 13-4. I was curious to see where he was going to say with how far they would go, but. I'm sure he was going to say.
I'm gonna text him and figure that
I feel
out.
like Super
I'm
Bowl
gonna figure this
contender
out.
he was going to say. That's my guess.
I wonder how many people this week we have on that are going to be like Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
They're back. I hope it's everyone because I'm in that camp.
Yeah, that's the big one. I did want to because I still have Dave Birkett on, by the way, coming on today. So stick around. Dave Birkett's going to join to talk about Detroit Lions training camp. I do want to talk about this Jahmyr stuff. Can we talk about this? Because okay, so the report was that maybe there's a feeling or a vibe that Jahmyr Gibbs could potentially be a holdout candidate if we get to training camp. Kind of like what happened to Anzalone.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
That's the vibe we're getting here. I mean, Anzalone went through it. He didn't get a contract extension, and he kind of it was like a hold in, they called it, where he was like there, but he wasn't participating or practicing, and he ended up leaving. I don't think it's the same scenario, and I actually am on the Lions side with this. Like, if there's maybe two sides, and maybe Jahmyr's side is the one that gets a contract, and then the Lions side is maybe the one that's waiting to get a deal done, I'm on the Lions side with this thing. And I don't know how Jahmyr Gibbs is going to handle it, but I will say this. He still has a year left of his contract, and then he has the fifth-year option at about $14 million. So, if he decides to hold out, okay. If I'm the Lions, hold out. Like, okay, that's fine. You're just going to hurt yourself. And the Bijan Robinson thing does not scare me. I know people are like, you got to sign him before Bijan. To me, the most important decision the Lions have to make is what do you do with Jahmyr Gibbs with all the guys that are available? He's a massive one. And to rush into a deal because Bijan's going to sign, to me, is not the smart way to do it. Maybe people look at it as you're saving some money. The way I would handle it and the way I think Brad will handle it, we'll see, is you wait, you see this season with Jahmyr Gibbs as the bell cow. You see, can you hold up being our 1A back? Someone that gets a lot of touches, someone that we depend on week in, week out, and can we see the consistency that we saw before last year when you were sharing a backfield with David? We have a better O-line. Can you handle the 30 or 20, 30 touches a game, still be productive, still be consistent? And then at the end of that, the Lions can make a decision next year to figure that out. So that's the biggest thing for that. Are we going to break?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to break.
When we come back, we'll talk more about it. Comment in the chat. Get your thoughts on Jahmyr Gibbs. We're still going to be joined by Dave Birkett as well. What do we got going into break here?
Founders.
Which one?
Water hazard.
Okay,
Water hazard.
there you go. Water hazard. By the way, I had one of these on the golf course yesterday. Absolutely delicious. It's so good. It is so good, and you guys should grab one. It's at pretty much every golf course, but more than that, you can go to Art and Jake's and grab one as well. $5 cans at any Art and Jake's location in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Please drink responsibly.
Dan Campbell is in redemption mode.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
And Woodward Sports is here to cheer on the Detroit Lions every snap. Don't miss a moment of Detroit Lions coverage. Follow Woodward Sports on all social media platforms now.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
Jahmyr Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
Yaldo Eye Center, let me tell you about them. You're tired of fumbling your glasses or contacts, the daily hassle of contacts? Trust the experts in the Yaldo Eye Center. 30 years of experience, 100,000 procedures. They are the trusted experts. LASIK is completely painless, takes just 8 minutes, and the recovery is so fast, patients are seeing 20/20 the very next day. You can take advantage of their summer promotion, just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. It is a one-time investment that will save you thousands of dollars on glasses and contacts in the long run. Wake up with clear vision. Book your consultation with the Yaldo Eye Center today at YaldoEyeCenter.com/1699. All right, we're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. Detroit Lions Media Frenzy Week. Anthony Bellino joined our show. He got interrupted, some internet connections, but it's okay. We still got Dave Birkett joining as well. Shout out to Anthony Bellino.
He did text me, by the way.
What'd he say?
Tell the folks parade down Woodward.
Okay, so that's what
He was going Super Bowl.
Yeah. That was the vibe I was getting from him, too. So, Super Bowl contenders from Anthony Bellino. We're going to ask everyone that joins the show. Dave's still joining us to start the second hour. We're going to talk Jahmyr Gibbs' holdout. We'll talk some training camp. Lots to get to. But Jahmyr Gibbs, what's going on with Jahmyr Gibbs? The potential holdout? Where are you guys at with him? Jahmyr Gibbs.
I'm with you. Well, this is the biggest thing with Jahmyr Gibbs. I see his side. You guys remember James Cook last year? I know James Cook was on. I don't think he actually had a contract or was going to the final year. But for him, the mindset as a running back, a running back position is probably one of the most injury-prone positions in football, right? Like you're getting hit on almost every play. You almost can touch the ball on every play. Like it's definitely an injury-prone position.
Yeah.
For like James Cook last year, people are like, well, why are you holding out for him, holding in? And it's the same thing with Gibbs. You do have to be careful to a sense to where if you go into training camp and you get hurt in camp, everything goes away. Like you lose all leverage, right? And I think that's where Gibbs' mind is. If people want to say, hey, the reports are false, whatever, I wouldn't be shocked if they are real, and it has nothing to do with, hey, Gibbs is being, a diva or whatever people usually do these holdouts for. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it would just be more so, hey, I am eligible for a contract extension. We are working through it with the Detroit Lions, and there are conversations right now. And with that, if I go to camp, let's say next week, and we start hitting pads in 2 weeks, and I get hit and something happens, I tear my hamstring or just knock on wood, there's something that does come up, all of those negotiations get cut off instantly. And then he has to play through his 5th year. And then they can franchise tag him. So I see both sides here. I see the side of Gibbs being like, hey, I don't want to risk losing out on a potential extension that is going to be probably the biggest that we've ever seen from a running back in NFL history. But also on the same side, Jeff, like if I'm the Detroit Lions, this is just me, what would I do? I'm doing what you're doing. I'm waiting. I'm just saying, hey, you do have a 5th year we could play on, and then after that we can hit you with the franchise tag, and we could do it again. And this goes back to the conversation with all these contracts. You're going to have to figure out with Sam Laporta, and you're going to have to figure out with Jahmyr Gibbs on the offensive side of the ball. Who do you want to franchise tag? Who's cheaper to franchise tag? Jahmyr Gibbs kind of more so falls in that category because Jahmyr does have that 5th year option. So you can potentially maybe just hit that 5th year option, franchise tag Laporta, and then the next year franchise tag Jahmyr Gibbs and get a contract done with Laporta. But I'm on the Lions side of this where it's like, hey, we're not in any rush to get a deal done with Jahmyr Gibbs. And if he wants to hold in, he wants to hold in, and we can go from there. But I'm on the side of, hey, man, like let's just sit back and wait. Let's see what happens. And, again, this is his first year being the bell cow back. Mm-hmm. So you do, in my mind, you want to see what he is doing that first off before you do give the biggest contract in NFL history at that position.
Yeah, to tail off that, Booner, I believe that this would be the very last season that Jahmyr Gibbs would go through training camp because I think he is going to practice. I think I don't think this has got to a boiling point yet, but this is the last season that he will play and practice, do all of this without a contract guaranteed. Without that guaranteed money, you are getting close to the edge of that cliff where you have to crap or get off the pot with paying Jahmyr Gibbs. You either you gotta extend him. You can reset the market and give him the money that he's probably going to be owed, and hope to get ahead of Bijan Robinson and some other upcoming contracts, or you can wait it out like you guys are more so alluding to. And I don't know, this is going to be really interesting, but I'm more so on the camp of paying Gibbs.
Well, it'll be a hold-in. It won't be a hold-out because if he holds out, there's fines of $50,000 daily fines for veterans. So he's not going to hold out, but he'll hold in, which is what Anzalone did.
And what is veteran status? Is that
it's anything other than a rookie, I would assume. Because it's only veterans and rookies is what I'm seeing. So I'm assuming it's rookies, and then after that it's like every other player. Oh, I would assume. Maybe I got that wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. So he would be there. He just wouldn't practice. Which, to be honest, you don't really need him till the season anyways. Or running, what do you?
I mean, James Cook just had the best year of his career, and he had to hold in, and he was at practice, but he wasn't practicing for the first couple weeks of training camp while they were getting a contract done.
Yeah. Okay, so even if he does that, still that. And
if I'm the Lions, I'm like, okay, cool. See you when the season starts, bro. We'll talk after next year about your contract. That doesn't change. You can hold out all you want. You're gonna have to play the season, and we're gonna talk about your contract when the season's over. I'm not giving you a contract just to beat Bijan Robinson. We have to see if your body will hold up as a 1A back. I'm committing a lot of money financially to a position that has the lowest, basically, timetable of any position in the NFL. That's a massive – people can say, oh, you're mean, you hate running backs. That's the reality of it. That's the way Brad has to look at it. You can love Jahmyr and think he's more than a running back, and he is. He's a receiving back as well. But to commit money like that but from a team, by the way, which is pretty cap-strapped as it is, and you have to pay players and you have to decide, hey, what if Brian comes back healthy and looks really good? You want to wait and see that. Sam Laporta, well, if he's healthy, is that someone you want to look to re-sign? Like, there's a lot of decisions you have to make this year, post this year, that I think Jahmyr is in that category. And, he's a great player. I'm not going to argue the talent, but again, to commit money to a player like that long term, you just have to be absolutely sure that A, his body will hold up, and B, that it's the right price as well. I'm assuming he's going to want top dollar. We talk about it all the time. He's one of the best backs in the NFL. So
yeah, By the way, too, shift in the chat won't be that a lot more expensive even if he wins Offensive Player of the Year. It's going to be the same, very similar contract as it would this year to the next offseason. That it is, because like if he gets paid today, let's say today we get an alert. Oh, Jahmyr Gibbs. Guess what it is? It's the biggest contract in running back history. That's what it's going to be. He's not getting any less. He's getting $20 million. And guess what? Next year, if he gets a deal, guess what it's going to be? Same thing. It's going to break the record again. So it's like
did Hutch win? Did he win Defensive Player of the Year?
No, but he was second highest paid.
Okay.
He got 40-something million.
Yeah, and he got the most, what was it? The most
guaranteed. I think,
so he still topped it in a category. Like, I understand winning an award helps, but no, he's getting paid regardless.
Yeah, so
Jahmyr could
you
say
might as
right
well
now,
wait. You might as well wait.
Yeah, he's getting paid regardless. And if I have to pay a little bit more off, you call it interest, because I'm waiting to see it, I'd pay it. Just to see, it's like, oh, were you going to see one more year of him? No, I want to see if he can hold up as a 1A back, a bell cow. Like, that's something you have to see, to be honest with you. That's just the reality of it. Icewater Olson, without Gibbs, the Lions' offense isn't scaring anybody. They absolutely have to pay Gibbs. Give him the blank check.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but it would definitely be a lot less scary. I mean, you still have weapons up and down this roster. So just to say that, you get rid of one guy, the offense is nothing, I think that's pretty unfair.
But that's an ignorant comment. And I love you, Icewater Olson, by the way. Shout out Bucks fan. That's an ignorant comment. If you didn't have Gibbs, makes your offense another level, no doubt. Yeah. But you're telling me if he wasn't playing and you had Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta
in the entire NFL,
that old line, and Jared Goff, that it wouldn't scare. Of course it is.
Yeah. Also, too, this whole convo, he's still under contract for 2 more years. So if you don't pay him, what is he going to, to Jeff's point, what is he going to, just sit out for 2 years and not play football? Then who's giving him a contract? If the contract doesn't get done and you're the Lions and you're Brad, we're waiting. Okay, hold in or hold out.
Yeah, also
you're waiting 2 years.
We've seen this Lions, not this specific roster, but this program take a guy like Jamal Williams and make him, put him up on a pedestal to the point where he breaks Barry Sanders' record. So I think it doesn't necessarily matter. It's a system. It's not just one guy makes this whole thing. I think that's something that we're used to in the modern NFL. But the Detroit Lions are an anomaly like that because the entire unit is, every single guy elevates that team just that much more. They all play together very well from what we've seen. And, the sky's the limit.
But it happens. People are like, well, he's the entire offense. Okay. Well, I'm sure there's teams that have thought like that in NFL history that have paid running backs and regretted it. And I'm not saying Gibbs is Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not saying he's Todd Gurley. But those teams also felt like this back is our offense. We have to pay him. And it aged poorly. Again, not saying it's a direct comparison, but you have to think like that as well. Zeke was the Cowboys' offense. People say that Dak was a Zeke merchant. And they paid him, and it failed miserably. Todd Gurley with Goff. Goff was a Todd Gurley merchant. He was the best. Look at how great Todd Gurley was. They paid him. It aged poorly. So forgive me if I'm on Brad Holmes' side being like, hey, man, let's be a little patient with this one. It's a lot of money to give to a running back. And I love Gibbs, but to a position that has the shortest lifespan of all positions. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy about that.
No,
but it happens in NFL history.
I don't think it's that crazy. Listen, I don't think it's that crazy of an argument. I am on the boat of hey, you do want to keep guys like this in your building as long as possible. The Saquons, the CMCs, you do want Derrick Henrys, you want those guys in there, but you can't just. This is just my opinion. You just can't go out there and just give out blank checks constantly every time someone's due for an extension. You just can't. You have to, especially. I think the Lions are in such a different case than any other organization too when it comes to this, because they have to pay so many guys. You have Laporta still. You have Brian Branch still. You're gonna have other players that are coming up. You're gonna have Tate Ratledge at some point. Look even further down, Blake Miller. They're gonna get. It's gonna keep coming. You're gonna have to repay guys. The check is gonna be due for a lot of players on this team. So you have to be a little bit more cautious and careful. And someone in the chat said it. I don't even know where it went, but someone had brought up about paying players early. You paid Kirby early. Now look, Kirby's hurt. And it's like there is a risk of paying guys early. Like if you pay him now and in his 4th year of his rookie contract, he gets hurt this year, you still have the 5th year option, and then you still have the 3 or 4 year extension. So you're sitting there and you have him for the next 6 years, and what if he gets hurt this year? And you paid him already. Mm-hmm. And I know that's an outside like thing, but when you are strapped for money like they are in contracts, you have to kind of proceed with caution every single contract you do.
Yeah, I think this is like back to the blank check thing. Obviously, that's hyperbolic. We're probably going to reset the market with Jahmyr Gibbs if we pay him before Bijan Robinson. But like we can't just hand out blank checks to all these people. Like, yeah, there was players that we probably shouldn't have done that. Like a guy like Kirby Joseph, maybe wait a little bit. Lee McNeil, we talk about that all the time. Like that was a guy maybe we should have waited to pay a little bit. But there's 2 guys on this roster, 3 actually. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, the offseason that we got them done. That was like, okay, you have to get that done. And I think Gibbs is in that same category. Jeff, I do 100% see what you're saying. It is a risk. You know, you are taking a risk. This guy, he's going to be the bell cow this year, and he might not be able to handle it. But I think that's the risk you're going to have to take because he is one of the best running backs in football. And I honestly think, like, outside of the Alex Anzalone thing, we haven't seen a ton of contract disputes between Brad Holmes and his players. I think this is going to go clean as a whistle. I think it's going to be easy peasy. We're going to get this done. Boom.
You think it gets done this offseason?
Yeah, yes, and I don't think he holds out or holds in. I think he's going to get his extension done this offseason. Whether you guys agree with that or not, like that they should do that, should they let him play out his 4th year and his 5th year what's it called? 5th year option. But I think they get it done this offseason. I do.
Yeah, like shout out Hefe, man. He's Woodward Sports Zone. He says Gibbs is a special running back. We are not taking that into consideration. No, we are. But you still have to make the right financial decision, Hefe. Like, let's go through. The disrespect when someone says something like that, like, oh, well, Gibbs is a special running back. Okay, so Zeke Elliott in his prime wasn't. Todd Gurley wasn't. Go watch that tape, Hefe. You know what Zeke had his rookie year? 1,600 freaking yards, 15 touchdowns. They paid him, and at the time, he had 3 years of his first 4 years with the Cowboys with over 1,300 rushing yards. A dominant back. And Todd Gurley. Go look at what Todd Gurley did early on. You'd say he was special. Like, this is where it's like, my shit don't stink. Jahmyr Gibbs is different. Like, no, dude. You're not the only franchise to have a great running back. Like, let's chill on that. That's where, like, the Lions fans slapping his creeps into this argument. It's like, dude, Jahmyr Gibbs is incredibly great. But there's been examples of incredibly great running backs that fall off a cliff. Like, I'm not pulling shit out of my ass. This is information you can Google. And with ChatGPT, it takes half the time. So type it in if you got that. Everyone's using ChatGPT now. Go type that in, all right? Or go watch tape on any of these running backs. Like, that's where I love Lions fans, but we got to stop with this, like, Jahmyr's different than all these guys.
But
they're
also
all great. Like, there's been more than one great running back than Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, there's Barry. There's only 2 running backs of some Lions fans that existed in NFL history. Jahmyr Gibbs and Barry Sanders. There's plenty more.
The Lions fans, the slappies you're talking about, they want to pay everyone. I bet you want to pay Brian Branch too, and it's all way he's a special player. Sam Laporta, a special player. Gibbs, special player. You can't. Like, it's impossible to do it and then have a good team where you go out there and you actually complement these pieces. To Jeff's point, and now I don't know if Jeff's like, don't sign him ever, but to his point or to where I'm at with it, just be strategic. Wait it out. He's still under contract for 2 years. And we're sitting here 2 years in advance because he's due for an extension. He's eligible and he's able to get one. We're like, let's just get it done now. So then you have him on the books for the next 6 years. And to Jeff's point, what if he flames out at some point? What if there is a major injury? And now you have him on the books for $20 million, the most expensive running back contract in NFL history for the next 6 years. And then all of a sudden you realize after 1 or 2 years of being a bell cow back, oh, he flames out. Why not wait? Why not be a little cautious and be smart and invest smartly? You're investing in him, right? Maybe invest smartly. Why not?
I understand that, and I see where you guys are coming from, Jeff. If you keep talking, I think you're going to sell me on this thing. I think you're going to sell me on your Gibbs take because I think Ezekiel Elliott's a great example. Todd Gurley's obviously
and people will say this, Caleb. You know what they'll say? They'll be like, well, those guys were injured. Well, yeah, I mean, at least Zeke had 300 carries. Like, he was getting consistently 300 carries, and if you look at his games, he played in 15 games, 16 games in his first 4 years. He had 1 year he missed a handful of games. I'm sorry, the guy's getting 300 carries a year. Gibbs also shared a backfield with David Montgomery.
You can't say Gibbs hasn't been injured because guess what? He's in his 3rd year. To his point, Zeke got just beat down, and by year 5, year 6, he started getting those injuries. Saquon was healthy for the longest. Guess what? Boom, starts getting injuries. Because why? Because he's the bell cow. And he's taking – it's wear and tear at this position. It's not, hey, he's been very healthy to start his career. He's going to be healthy for the next 10 years. That's not how this game works. That's being a slappy and being unrealistic. There's wear and tear. If there's wear and tear at any position in any sport, running back is probably number one.
1A.
It is number one, but at the same time, like I get it. The running back is more extreme when it comes to injuries and longevity and everything. But Booner, to your point when you were saying injuries just happen in football. They do. Like, yeah, we got screwed. Like, for an example, we got screwed on the Kirby Joseph thing because who knows if he's ever going to play football again. And you know, he's injured right now. But, like, that goes for every extension. You're taking a risk in your organization to pay these guys a ton of money. We took, even though Penei Sewell was a great player, we took a risk on Penei Sewell. Who knows what he would have looked like 2 years in his contract.
But the point is not that you're not taking a risk, Caleb. It's that position is the highest
yes,
risk.
It is.
Yeah, you'll take a risk. I mean, dude, you could golf. You could tear his Achilles and be like Kirk Cousins. Like, it could happen. Okay, anything can happen. But it just so happens that running back, their career life, their timeline, lifespan, you know, whatever, is the shortest by far. Like, and I'm not saying – I say this to just there's two things about this argument we can talk about. One is what Brad would do and what I would do. What I would do is clearly not what the Lions will do. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, the Lions are going to trade him. No, they're not. They're going to probably extend him. They're going to take their time with it, and I actually am on Brad's side with that. Obviously, I'm a lot more harsher, and I understand that, and people aren't going to like that, and I do understand what kind of player Jahmyr Gibbs is. My point is, advice to Brad, not that he needs my advice, but what I would say is just take your time, okay? You don't have to rush into this. Be patient, and just make sure if you're going to pay a lot of money to him, you feel very comfortable about him being the bell cow. You feel very good about it. That's it, you know? And we'll see. I still think the contract probably comes after the season, but maybe it comes before. Let's go to break. We got Mortgage Pros.
Yes.
Tell us about Mortgage Pros.
Let me tell you guys about Mortgage Pros. If you're looking for a career upgrade, check out Mortgage Pros, the #1 mortgage broker to work for in the entire state of Michigan. We saw their incredible company culture firsthand at their annual block party. They have 4.9 stars on Google and over 4,000 reviews. Their reputation, it speaks for itself. So if you are looking for a new job, give Mortgage Pros in Troy a call. You see the number on the screen right there, 248-416-1361. It's Mortgage Pros. Let the pros handle it.
Neil Rule and Sean Belizean wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. Two, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Buddy's Pizza is celebrating 80 years of the original Detroit-style pizza, and they are grateful to be your hometown favorite. Add some Detroit style to your next event with Buddy's Catering. Their menu is packed with fan favorites, including their award-winning pizza, signature salads, home-style pastas, and more. Save 20% on your next catering order of $200 or more with promo code Woodward20. Visit buddyspizza.com/catering to view their complete menu and place your order today.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports, talking Jahmyr Gibbs, getting the people fired up before Dave Birkett joins. It's perfect. That's how it should be. You know, I get your guys going about Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Dave Birkett comes on, voice of reason, talk about training camp. That's what I think. That's the best way. I mean, if you're a fan tuning into Lions content, that's the way to do it.
Jahmyr Gibbs
You're like, this guy
conversation.
in the white T-shirt sucks, and then Dave Birkett comes on, you're like, this guy's kind of cool.
I had to look down on my T-shirt real quick. I don't know
You
if
know?
I had a white one on. I was like, is he talking about me, dude?
This guy's take is terrible, and then Dave joins. You're like, oh, this show's actually not bad. I like
Hey, wait,
this
my
show.
shirt is white.
Oh, no, Gordo.
Oh, it's like we firing shots over here?
Oh, no. I think, honestly, and Gordo said it in the break, the Gibbs conversation might be one of the most, like,
conflicting things that because I can't pick a side right now. Like, I'm in the gray area. I don't know, because I understand the context of, like, oh god, like, you pay, you know, a running back that much, but at the same time I've also seen what happens to Giants after they lose Saquon, or Titans after they lose Derrick Henry. So it's like I don't know.
See, the way I approach it is like the Giants and you brought up the Titans.
Or Panthers after they lost CMC.
But their organization was dependent on that player.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lions as an organization right now, as a football team, is dependent on what happens with Gibbs. I think they're a good football team. You know, I mean, they got, like we mentioned, how many All-Pros they got? Was Gibbs ever an All-Pro?
Not yet.
You see what I'm saying? I love Gibbs. My point is, people mention the All-Pro thing, and Gibbs isn't even one yet, even though he has the talent to be.
I mean,
That's
he's
my
going
point.
to be.
They got a stacked. That's my point, though. They got a stacked roster of a bunch of good players. That's where, like, if you're the Lions, you just got to make sure if you're paying them, you're giving money to them, you're absolutely sure about it, because that means you probably lose some other players you might want to extend.
Will said you guys are morons. You guys don't trade a modern-day Barry. Guys, like, Jahmyr Gibbs is really good. He's one of the best in the league, if not the best, you could argue. But again, with the battle line last year, what was his yards per carry, Jeff? To end the year last year, in the second half of the year.
Especially there was games, he had games where he was incredible, and then there was a lot of games where he averaged about 3 yards a carry. And people are going to say to you, Booner, well, it's the O-line. Drop the mic.
Yeah.
That's my point.
But, like, again, if you threw Barry in these situations, Barry's averaging 4 or 5 a carry.
But my point is, like, people are like, well, it's the O-line. You got to upgrade the O-line. Yeah. How do you do that?
You need money.
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 Like, it's a position that depends on the offensive line. Like, guys.
Well, I think
like, we're all putting this together live in time.
Well,
like,
I didn't know if you guys knew this, though. The NFL, unlimited salary cap. Did you know that?
That's what I'm saying.
It's
like,
unlimited
guys,
salary cap. For the people in there that are like, oh, pay everyone. I didn't know we were playing in the Major League Baseball.
Yeah, well, the problem is, you know what I think it is? And I do, this is where I do understand where fans are coming from, because it's hard to separate the fandom from the business side. Like, I can say, and people are going to think, well, when I say this stuff, people are like, well, you hate Jahmyr Gibbs. No, I really do. I think he's a great person. I think he's a great player. You know, it's unfortunate he plays a position that, again, in the NFL, shortest lifespan. Like, you have to think about these things when you're making a decision like that. That's all I'm saying, guys. Like, and I think there's so many people that love Jahmyr, and they're like, well, I'd pay him whatever he wants because I love Jahmyr. But that's not how Brad Holmes should operate, guys. You know it's not in his best interest to operate with fandom and be like, I love this guy, I'm going to pay him. You have to think, like, is it the right business decision for our organization to pay this guy?
So, hold on a second,
That's
guys. Technically, Barry Sanders played with more all-pro offensive linemen than Jahmyr Gibbs.
Gordo, stop.
No, I mean, I looked it up. I looked it up. Lomas Brown, Kevin Glover.
Sound like Ryan Lentz.
Right now,
Ryan Lentz told us this old bit.
Yeah, hey, right now, Jahmyr Gibbs, it's only Penne. Guys.
Okay. Well, okay. So,
guys.
You know what?
I'm
Fine.
Just saying,
he's the GOAT.
I'm just saying.
Fine. He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
Is it Al Boulevard? He says, you don't know running back play, Jeff. End of story. Cool. Does Brad Holmes? He hasn't paid him yet. So maybe he doesn't know running back play. You know, I don't know. And by the way, am I the only person that thinks this way? No, a lot of GMs think the same way I'm thinking, and they must not know running back play. That's weird. I don't know. Apparently no one knows running back play but Boulevard in the chat. Is that Jashar Choice in the chat watching our show? Is that just running back coach of the Lions? Jashar Choice?
To kind of, Booner, to your point about the, like, unlimited salary cap thing, that's why, and Gordo, you brought it up earlier, the offensive line and attacking the quarterback. Those are the two most important things on a football team outside of the actual quarterback position, which we already have locked up. That's why I don't want to, totally switch the conversation here, but that's why I'm on board with, I love the player, but that's why I'm on board with not paying a guy like Sam Laporta, because I do feel like having a guy like Sam Laporta in this in this offense, it's almost like a luxury because you already have Gibbs, you already have Amon-Ra, you already have Jahmyr. We've seen this offense can still be really good without Sam Laporta, although him being a really good player. There's just more needs on this team, and again, Laporta, great player, but he almost feels like a luxury on there. So,
and how many young tight ends have we seen blossom out of second, third round draft picks in the last few years? Quite a few.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm on the page of, and again, not trying to switch conversation from Gibbs to Laporta, but
no, I agree with tight end. I think there's a lot of tight ends in this league that get drafted past the first round and they end up being very good. So I understand that argument. Let's we got Dave on? Ready to go?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
bring him in. Does he really need an introduction? I'm going to give him one, but one of the best in the business. 4-time Michigan Sports Writer of the Year, Detroit Free Press. Dave Birkett joins us live. Dave, how are we doing, my friend? Thank you so much for joining us and making it work this week.
Yeah, glad to be here, guys, and sorry no video, just in a spot that's not real conducive to that right now. So
no worries at all. I do want to ask, we asked Anthony Bellino this. He joined today as well, and the training camp is coming up. You guys are going to be busy. You've been kind of on semi-vacation, getting ready for the season. But what's kind of the vibe for you, Dave, heading into training camp? What's one thing you're looking forward to covering or seeing the most with this Detroit Lions team during training camp?
Yeah, well, I heard you obviously talk about the Sam Laporta, potential extension on the intro in here, and I think that's the big thing that will be or one of the two big, I guess, topics that will be lingering at the start of camp here is not just the contract for Sam Laporta, but one's for Jahmyr Gibbs potentially and Brian Branch as well, and then number two is the health status of the secondary. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, when will they be back? How much will they practice this summer? I think the Lions have a really good roster. If I was picking right now, I would probably pick them to win the NFC North. But the biggest question mark that they have is that secondary. Obviously, with Terrion Arnold no longer a part of it, and then with the injuries at the safety position, I think that's one thing that could hold this defense back. So it's how they go about managing the reps of both those guys, or getting both those guys ready to play, not just in week one, but to be ready for a potential playoff run as well.
Hey, Dave, I got to ask you about the kind of cornerback situation heading into camp and into the season. Obviously, the TA stuff goes down. Did you think that the Lions kind of prepared, and that's why the Rocky Sin and Roger McCreary and all these different pieces kind of got brought together? Do you think they were kind of looking in the future, like, hey, just in case something happens? And then kind of the next level of that is, how do you think this corner room works, especially that outside corner with DJ Reed and then Rocky Sin and those different guys, Ennis Rakestraw? What's the confidence level with the current corner room that they have going into next week?
Yeah, let's talk about the first one first. I think quite the opposite, actually. I don't think they did enough. I think it was pretty obvious to anyone who had done any reporting or investigating on the matter, way back in February, March, that, Terrion Arnold could be caught up in some of this stuff, and that the Lions should have done a little bit more to prepare for potentially losing him. Obviously you sign a Roger McCreary, re-sign a Rocky Sin. Those are, nice veteran depth additions. And let's not pretend like Terrion Arnold, even though he was a first-round pick, was some, number one cornerback that, is ultimately going to, be the biggest hindrance to this defense losing him. He was the most talented cornerback on the roster, but he wasn't the best cornerback. And so I think the Lions could have done more, should have done more way back in free agency, potentially the draft, just to bolster that room in general, but then also when you take into account Terrion's situation. That's not to say I don't like Rock. I think he's a really good player, had a good season. We had a really good season for them last year, at least. He played well. I think, the Lions have said Roger McCreary can play both outside and slot, so maybe he has a little more versatility than we've given him credit for. But I do think the Lions are a little bit thin at that position. I would have liked to have seen them done more, given Terrion's legal status and obviously not knowing exactly what Ennis Rakestraw is going to be or how healthy he's going to be. Part two of that, look, the Lions like what they have in that cornerback room, though, and so, I guess you take that into account when you factor in what they did or didn't do. They think Ennis Rakestraw can have a good year for them. They like the trajectory he was on before he got hurt last year. I'm of the belief, you need to see it happen before you can really count on that, and that includes staying on the field. He just hasn't played much his first two seasons. I think Rocky Sin and DJ Reed can be a good pairing for them. DJ Reed started off the season well last year. So I think there's maybe some optimism that the cornerback position in particular won't be this big handicap for the team this year. But again, I have my doubts. I would have liked to have seen a little more depth at the position going into the start of training camp.
Dave, I'll ask you about the O-line. Blake Miller now, new rookie. You got that left guard spot with Mahogany, which, will be interesting to see kind of how that falls. But just the O-line as a whole, Cade Mays offseason signing. What's kind of the feeling for you? Obviously, Panay moving to left tackle, but just the I guess how you feel going into the training camp, the season with this new O-line, confidence in them, and also that left guard spot, and who ends up ultimately winning that in your opinion? How does that shake up?
Yeah, I think, I'll say this. I think the offensive line has the potential to be better this year than it was last year. And last year, obviously, given the newness of some of the faces on the line and the injury problems, it was one of the bigger things that held this offense back. But, that being said, it was a little bit of a shell game in that they were moving pieces around. You lose a Taylor Decker and you got a rookie, there's going to be some growing pains, right? You move Panay Sewell over, obviously he's a fantastic player, and you're replacing Decker essentially with the rookie and Blake Miller. I think Blake Miller has a ton of upside. Really liked him as a fit for the Lions in the draft, but the reality is rookie tackles, tend to take a little bit of time to hit their stride in the NFL. So I wouldn't expect that to be the smoothest operation early on. We'll see what happens at left guard. I think Mahogany is probably still the favorite there, though that will be a training camp battle that we'll see what happens. Obviously, they got a little bit of an upgrade at center, but continuity is an important thing. It's something they have to work on. The fact that they'll all be young and healthy, in theory, should help them be on the field and maybe help with some of that early on, help with some of those growing pains. So I'm optimistic that this line will be better this year than it was last year.
Hey, Dave, I do want to bring up just another kind of position like that, the linebacker position. Alex Anzalone obviously leaves for Tampa. What are you looking at for and kind of fill that role? Are we like Rodrigo? I know a lot of people bring Rodrigo up and Derek Barnes. Those are kind of the two names that just keep getting pushed into that kind of conversation. Do you have confidence that they can kind of fill that Alex Anzalone void going into this year, or is that kind of another one of those senses when you look at like the corner position to where you have one good player in Jack Campbell, but then after that it's like, hey, what's happening in that position?
Yeah, I'd kind of lump the linebackers in with that secondary really and say the Lions' biggest issues on defense are in that back seven, which is, maybe a little bit different than we've talked about in years past with, where are they going to get the pass rush from and how much pass rush, and not that that's totally been answered, but I do worry a little bit, not that the mix of players, Jack Campbell's really good. Obviously, Derek Barnes is sort of their Swiss Army knife. I think, Jimmy Rolder showed some promise in spring, albeit no pads. Maybe he can develop into something. Malcolm Rodriguez, another year removed from the ACL, he should be better. But I don't think they have an Anzalone replacement as good as he was last year at times covering tight ends and in pass coverage. The Lions just don't have that in their linebacking core right now. Just another three-down player that they can stick out there to really help that defense. So I think that's where the linebacking core lacks. And I don't know that one player can fill that role. I think it will that's another battle that we'll see shake out in training camp here as to, who and how the Lions decide to fill that void. It could be a collection of players, right? They could use players in different roles, and ultimately that's what a lot of NFL teams do. But that just means the defense will look a little bit different this year. Maybe we'll see more nickel instead of that base package that they use. Maybe we'll see them mix and match that third linebacker spot so it's not Malcolm Rodriguez out there all the time. Maybe it's a Damone Clark or a Jimmy Rolder, or however they want to play based on what the offense is showing.
Last question for you, Dave, from my end. I do want to ask about the D-line, but just more specifically Lee McNeil. We've had a lot of conversations about him bouncing back, and I know people are kind of expecting him a year after ACL will be much better. But when you look at Tyreek as well, Roy Lopez didn't come back, and, they kind of left that DJ Reader left. They left that nose tackle spot a little open. You mentioned a scheme change. But your confidence now, DJ Wanham and Derek Moore, Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, and Tyreek Williams playing on that D-line, and just the fact that, Aleem maybe can get back to that top 10 form he was originally at.
Yeah, that's it's so big for this team. You're right. I mean, Aleem McNeil he's as big a wild card, I think, as there is, because 2 years ago, before he got hurt, he was trending towards being a top 10 or whatever defensive tackle. He was a really good player. Obviously push the pocket, provide some pressure. Such a good compliment to Aiden Hutchinson. he came back last year, and I thought his first series was amazing, and then it just seemed like we didn't, call his name a whole lot after that. So I think Aleem talked about it this spring in terms of, still being, in his head a little bit about the injury and trusting his leg. And now that he's another year removed, I know he feels this way, and I'm sure the team does as well, that, he can get back to being that sort of force at the defensive tackle position that the Lions need. Because I still think the Lions are a little bit light there. It's not as big a concern to me as some of the other spots, just because Aiden Hutchinson is such a good player, and because of the rotational aspect, I guess, of the defensive end position and what the Lions will do. I think they've got a lot of bodies, they got a lot of size, they got a lot of length, different playing styles. So I think that can be effective for them. But a big part of that effectiveness is having Aleem McNeill being back to the Aleem McNeill that we saw 2 years ago.
Yeah, Dave, last question just from me, and we're asking everyone this week this. It's kind of on the spot, but just do you have a kind of a record prediction or where you think the Lions are going to fall this season, kind of bouncing back from missing the playoffs last year?
Yeah, I guess I went, real quick at the end of when the schedule came out to do a sort of game by game, and I forget what I had them at, 10, 11 wins. I think they'll be somewhere in that realm. Again, if I'm looking right now at this team in the division in the NFL, I think the Lions are the favorite to win the NFC North. I think they have the best all-around roster in the NFC North. They have, some depth issues at some certain positions and some questions that they're going to need to answer in order to win the division, in order to be set up for a long playoff run. But when I look at them in comparison to the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears, the Minnesota Vikings, I would take the Lions to win the division ahead of those other teams. I think Green Bay can still be really good. They had a young roster. Obviously, Jordan Love has done some pretty good things. The Bears, I don't know that they're going to take the step back that, a lot of people do, just because I think Ben Johnson is a really good coach. And, if Caleb Williams continues to develop, he has the potential to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. But when you look at roster top to bottom, I think the Lions have the best roster in the NFC North. Not nearly on par with the Rams or the Seahawks for the NFC, but you get a home playoff game, you win the division, maybe you get 2 home playoff games. You can make some damage in the postseason if you stay healthy. So that's what's going to be key for the Lions, as always.
Well, we appreciate you, Dave, so much for joining us. Detroit Free Press, Dave Birkett, and good luck with everything. Hope your daughter feels better. And thanks for joining us on the spot, my friend.
Yeah, you got it, guys. We'll talk to you again.
Thanks,
all right,
Dave.
There you go. Dave Birkett joining the show here at Crunch Time on Woodward Sports. We'll go to break. When we come back, we'll get into some Detroit Lions training camp and share our thoughts. But before we do that, we got Icon Auto.
Let me tell you guys about Icon Auto, man. We're excited to welcome them, the Icon Auto Repair and Collision, to the Woodward Sports family. If you've been in an accident or your vehicle needs repairs, make sure you trust the team at Icon Auto Repair and Collision. With 3 convenient Metro Detroit locations, they have Madison Heights, Shelby Township, and Pontiac. They've got you fully covered. They offer free car loaners and even offer to pay your deductible. Visit iconauto.com. It's the Icon that you can count on.
You're building a whole combat sports enterprise in the heart of it in Detroit, and that's what I think is the coolest.
I think with opportunity, right? Like you said, maybe you like to punch people in the face for real, and you want to be a boxer, and you have an option there. Maybe you don't like getting punched in the face, and you want to make, you like the theatricals and the storylines, and so you have an avenue here. Maybe you start at one and then want to change to the other. I don't care. I just want you in the building and know that you have some place to go to explore that. Just having the ability to, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it to the best of your ability? And, it all starts with the kids.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that.
Don't just survive, thrive.
It's game on at Art & Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art & Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Buying a home or refinancing is a massive decision, and you got to go to those that you trust. Chad and Chris are the people you can trust, and we are proud to have them as partners here at Woodward Sports. Full-service lender, 9% close-on time rate, 97% customer satisfaction score. All you got to do when you apply for an eligible loan, mention Woodward Sports, and you will receive up to $500 off your appraisal. To score the deal, call the numbers on your screen. Talk to Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending today. We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. We're joined by Dave Birkett of Detroit Free Press to talk about Detroit Lions training camp. We appreciate him. Anthony Bellino, Spin on Sports on WJR, joining the show. And that is just Monday of a very, very busy Media Frenzy week.
Packed week, man. Shout out Anthony and Dave for hopping on today. I'm fired up for the rest of the week, too. Can I just throw this out there, too, what Dave said? I don't know if you guys caught it, about the TA stuff.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
He that was the one thing, and we had this conversation over the Lions prepared for something that happens to TA. And to Dave's point, he's like, every reporter kind of knew what was going on since February, whenever it came out. I think it was the Combine week when we were out there. Everyone knew what was happening, and it gets reported. And he kind of alluded to it. It felt like everyone was prepared for it, maybe besides the Detroit Lions. And it shows in the corner
How
room.
can that happen, though?
Well, here's
That's
right.
what I don't understand.
Here's
Because
right.
if you have insider sources, they should be, among the team, right? Like, who's your best friend? The sheriff of, whatever county in Florida that happened? Like, how do you have the more knowledge than the team does?
When I had an opportunity with Lions Collective, when we interviewed Brad Holmes, he was asked about the TA situation, and he said, I always operate pessimistically, so I'm always planning for the worst outcome. So I think in his mind, he was prepared. Now, our point of view, we're looking at what he was prepared with. We're like, that ain't enough. But I do think Brad's perspective is he thought he was prepared for this.
So, for him, though, him thinking he's prepared
like
is
Rock Ya-Sin
DJ Reed and Rock Ya-Sin is
like,
your 1 and 2, which
that
does not feel like prepared.
I would assume, again, I don't know what's going on in his brain, that he thinks Rock Ya-Sin is a capable starter, and that, Keith Abney now, they're like, all right, he can play nickel. Roger can play outside. Remember how Dave mentioned that? They feel like he could play inside, outside.
I don't feel comfortable with our entire defensive backfield looking like the Little People Wrestling tournament.
Well,
that's not something that fills me with a lot of confidence.
And it shouldn't, but I will. That's where I'm not even trying to defend Brad, but just kind of give his perspective. I do think in his mind he was prepared. But I'm with you. But they don't. There's just not that cornerback room just isn't that good.
It's the same thing though as the years before with the edge room, where as people who cover the team and as fans and the fan base, no one in the fan base and people that cover this team were like, hey, this is a great edge room, right? You bring in Marcus Davenport again, and you know who the one person that was constantly sitting there going, we're prepared at the edge room? Brad Holmes. He was like, I love our edge room. He loved it.
Yep.
And it feels like that's the same scenario now all of a sudden with the corner room. Maybe Brad's in specific areas of the roster construction. Maybe he's a year or two behind of everyone, because now all of a sudden he has the edge room buzzing, and you have DJ Wanham and you have Derek Moore and you have Aiden Hutchinson now. You have some dudes, and then the corner room, everyone's like, hey, now it's the corners. Can we get some corners? And he's like, no, we're actually really good. We love our corners. And then in 2 years, he's going to go out and be like, oh, yeah, that's on me. You know what? Corners weren't that good.
So you're saying
you're behind it, Brad.
It's like the Lions are a massive corporation, and it takes this shit forever to get down the pipeline to the big boss.
And he just doesn't realize it. Yeah, he's like, trust me, bro, I got it. And it's like, no, you really don't.
I would push back on that for sure, because it's a tight group. How many people are getting a hold of the paperwork before Brad Holmes? He should 1000% have a firm grasp on what's going on in that locker room and with the roster. So I don't understand where the thinking is where this is good enough for the defensive ends or the defensive backfield.
So how he thinks about it is he
even the linebackers.
We know this to be true with Brad, right? He's very, and I will throw Dan in this, very peculiar, I think is the right word for that. Peculiar.
Yeah, he's in a peculiar
or particular.
Peculiar.
Whatever.
He's in a pickle.
He's in a pickle.
I like pickle better.
Very,
that's a way better.
I'll say this. He's they're very specific on the type of player they want in the building. So with that being said, they don't go and sign guys that we want because they're he's got to check all these boxes. So when something happens like TA and, you were like, go get a corner, from their perspective, they're like, well, none of these corners are our guys. But then you'll see other teams be like, hey, Rasul Douglas, get over here. We need another corner. But the Lions just don't operate like that. They're very They're just different. I don't know. They want guys that fits their culture and everything, which I understand that. I'm not saying you got to go sign boneheads, but they do need more depth. They do need more talent, man. Like
it is crazy
I haven't
though.
heard bonehead in a while.
It's a good one.
It's the truth though. I feel like, especially with like some of the listen. This is the thing I think with Brad Holmes too. When we talk about this roster construction, he's done a hell of a job. Like this roster again, like Dave said, it's the best in the NFC North. You can argue it's one of the best in the NFC outside the Rams. But the issue is there are negatives to the roster, and for years it was the edge room. Now all of a sudden it creeps on you, and it's a secondary, and it's not like it's just a small like hole. You don't know if DJ Reed's even close to a corner one. Your corner two is a guy that's kind of a journeyman in the NFL right now. Your secondary with the safety group, you had to go out and get vets that kind of were thrown around the NFL as well. You're hoping that a rookie in Keith Abney steps up. You're hoping that a second-round pick that hasn't played in 2 years steps up. You have Brian Branch, who's coming off an Achilles. You have Kirby Joseph, who no one knows if his knee is even good enough to play football in the rest of his career. It's like it's not like it's just one or two questions. It's like from top down, there's questions. And yeah, can some of it work out? Yeah, but like when you have every single secondary piece at question in your room, you shouldn't feel confident. Like I don't want to say you've been unsuccessful building the secondary, but you kind of have, because you haven't patched it up. And you know, someone goes down with an injury. What do you do? What do you do when you have a flat tire? You either patch it up or you get a new one. And like you've gotten like 8 flat tires in the secondary in the last 12 months, and you've patched it up with, instead of going to get a real new tire, you got one of those donut tires and you're rolling on a donut tire right now.
To the point where you're on a first name basis with the guy at AutoZone.
Yeah,
basically.
Again, bro?
But you can't. You only can go a certain speed limit.
Yeah, but
you
he's
can't go
never
over that
given
speed
you.
limit.
He's never actually, the AutoZone guy's not actually giving you a new real tire, and he's giving you a bad patch kit, and you're sitting there going, "Hey, these patches aren't working, dude." Oh, wait a second. You have the donut. We can only go 40 miles per hour. I can't go on the highway with the donut wheel. That's right now what your secondary is. And Brad's sitting there going, I have confidence. And then Dave, you know, obviously Dave is like, hey, it doesn't feel like they actually went out
Brother,
there.
Have you driven on the lodge recently? I seen somebody with a little donut going like 90. Brother.
And I bet you that person's car probably blew up a month later.
You can make it happen.
And with that too, it's like, I agree. Outside of, I'll say this. Brad Holmes went to the tire shop or wherever he's going. He got a nice tire that worked well. That was Carlton Davis, and he took the tire off and he just switched it. I mean that was
he switched it
to a smaller tire,
a 5.8 tire.
that was the one hit he's had in the secondary. Well, actually, I'll say the corner room, because the secondary, obviously, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, both phenomenal players. But Carlton Davis left for what, $2 million more, like $1 million more than they wanted to pay him. That's incredibly frustrating. He was really good for the Lions the year he was there. And I'll say this too. I'm not saying us as, you know, fans in the media and people in the chat were always right, but how many times, especially with the edge rushers, have we been proven wrong by Brad Holmes? Because that was the criticism that we've had these past couple years. They just don't have enough pass rushers. They're not going to be able to get to the quarterback. We just don't have enough pass rushers, and it's not like this defensive line proved us wrong. So these are very glaring issues that Brad Holmes is just, like you guys said, almost like kind of like behind the times, where he doesn't make the, whether you know you agree with it or not, doesn't make the snap calls and goes in and improve these rooms. It's just, you know, he just kind of trusts his guys, and it's frustrating a lot of the time.
Yeah, I can only. I mean, the secondary is definitely a problem. Like, if we're talking about things we're starting to see for training camp, to me, it's a secondary, no doubt.
And it's, I don't even think it's like it is a problem. Like, that secondary room was not good.
And the thing that worries me, Jeff, we'd be like, oh, we're excited to see it. Last year, I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember? We went to every training camp practice that we could. Do you remember the hype coming out of it? What the number one hype thing was last year?
Well, I know TA was
and DJ Reed.
Definitely one of those, yeah.
And TA was like, oh my, everyone. And we did it too. We hyped him up. I mean, we fell for it.
It was like TA had a pass breakup on Amon-Ra.
Yeah, and everyone was like so excited.
Oh my gosh.
That's the point of training camp.
This
though.
dude is
like, for us, like, come on.
But that's why for training camp, it's like, I'm excited to see the secondary. Okay, cool. And then they look good and they're playing well. And then people are like, oh, well, Jared and the offense are playing bad. Secondary looks great. They're going to be so good this year. And then you get to the season and the Jared Goff is cutting up every single secondary in the NFL, and your secondary is getting cut up by every single quarterback in the NFL, including Nick Mullins. Like, you're like, what is happening here? Yeah. So like, I could say I'm excited for the training camp for the secondary. Doesn't mean anything. Like, how much am I going to actually take into account that? Probably, honestly, none.
The biggest thing I'm looking for with this training camp coming up is, one, just some of these players that are younger on our team to continue to take a step, guys like Isaac Tesla, guys like Christian Mahogany, some of the newer guys to, see how they gel with the team. And also schematically, I am very, very, very curious about what this Detroit Lions defense is going to look like given the hurdles that we've had to face, with the roster construction. And I think you can't continue to square peg a round hole and do the 4-3 base defense. Like, it's to a point now where you probably should go 3-4 and bring a nickel down into the box. Like, that's what I want to see a lot more from this Lions defense, is the utilization of that nickel back, and hopefully stack the box a little bit more, but also have more versatile guys, because with the how you're limited with your linebackers, and also just the similar build of every single guy that you have in your defensive backfield, or I should say with the cornerbacks, like, you're put in a weird spot, and it's the writing I feel like is kind of on the wall with how this team is going to shake out schematically.
Well, I'll even mention we're not going to go back to the Jahmyr Gibbs. We don't have to go back into that. Okay, it was intense. We'll leave it in the past. All right, but what I will say is Brian Branch, right? He's a big part of the secondary when healthy. Kirby Joseph signed the extension. We don't know what's going on with him. There is an out in his contract, but you hope that he can play more years with the Detroit Lions. One of the biggest strengths of this Lions defense was the safety room. We have to see what Brian Branch looks like coming off an Achilles. I have hope. I feel good about it. Because I don't think he's a player that relies on athleticism. But let's just say, hypothetically, right? Go into a little dream world. I wish we had like the sound effect going into dream world. Brian Branch comes back. He looks good. You no doubt have to pay him. Because looking at the future, we're talking about secondary right now. And you're going to let that dude walk out the building?
He's
no.
He's a guy like he's
he
the best safety
nickel.
in the NFL.
Imagine, we're just talking about all these nickel scenarios. Imagine having that dude back at nickel. That would make you feel. Imagine if Brian was healthy right now playing nickel, or at least playing safety. We'd be like, the secondaries, it's not good, but at least you have Brian Branch, one of the best safeties in the league.
There's no buts when you're talking about the secondary. There's no this secondary's bad, but there's not that.
Bad.
We don't even have it.
By the way, too, and
that's terrible.
I'm saying this without, I don't want people to get mad. Brian Branch is the best safety on your team, healthy. If everyone's healthy, and I know Kirby has 1 billion interceptions, go look at when ESPN did the executives, scouts, and coaches voted for the best safeties in the league. Go look at the type of safeties that get voted as the best in the league. Kyle Hamilton, last year, they did the previous year rankings. Guess where Brian Branch was? Top 3. Kirby was 4th or 5th. This year, guess what? Both injured. Even an Achilles injured Brian Branch was the 4th best voted safety in the NFL. Number 4. They look at him as a top 5 safety. He's coming off an Achilles tear.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like Kirby, he played sometimes last year, but he's not coming off an Achilles, and he's voted 9th. The value that Brian Branch brings to this team, it changes your whole defense as a whole. It does. It really does, man. He can go in the slot. He could play. I mean, you could probably play him outside if you want to. You could throw him at free safety, strong safety. You could throw him wherever you want on the field, and Brian Branch will be one of the best players, if not the best player on the field. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Can I also throw the $5 super chat out?
Yep.
Tap Sauce said, we're trying. This is spot on. We're trying to hit a 6-leg secondary parlay, and that's not how you make money. They are trying to just hit a massive plus 6,000 parlay with the secondary going into this year. That's what this feels like.
Great way to put it.
That is how that's how this feels. You're hoping that DJ Reed, Rock Ya-Sin, Thomas Harper, Roger McCreary, Keith Abney, Ennis Rakestraw, you're hoping all of them work out. And if they don't, or if half of them don't, your secondary is buns again.
I mean, we know what DJ Reed is. We know.
Yes. Come on.
I mean, Caleb.
Come on, man. Come on. That's our butt. Our secondary sucks, but Ennis Rakestraw.
The Caleb Zarnik butt. That is the
I love
infamous
butts.
butt.
I love butts.
And Ennis Rakestraw is where you're planting your flag, which I respect. If he's the only corner. I mean, it's funny we had this conversation a week ago. We're like, isn't he 6'2"? He looks up. He's 5'11". He feels like a giant. He feels like a giant.
Yeah, he's an under 6 foot corner.
Rock Ya-Sin's the biggest corner you got. He's 6'1", I think he is.
I am a fan of guys
so
with
it's
big butts.
So it's like Rock Ya-Sin, unless Rock Ya-Sin can be, Rock Ya-Sin in spurts last year for the entire season. Yeah, it's going to be brutal. Now, the offense, we could talk about it. Like, people want to invest more money in the offense by paying Sam Laporte and Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay, I understand they're great players, but like the whole point of talking about who you pay and who's a priority and all this stuff goes back to where you put the money. And to me, I'll consistently say, you put the money into your defense. You have to, because this defense is not. We can get to it. We can go to break and get to the the amount of great players Lions have. I saw a tweet. Is the window closed? They have all these great players. They do, but that defense as a collective just has not been good. And I don't feel good about it this year either. So we'll talk about that when we come back. We should probably take a break. We'll double up here. We got 2 to get to. We got, Mad Packs and Art and Jake's?
Yes,
is this
sir.
where we're going?
Gordo, can you tell us about Mad Packs?
Let me tell you guys about Mad Packs. Listen, guys, if you are a fan of Mad Packs, you already know that they bring the heat. But this summer, they're shaking things up with some massive new drops. Get ready for the Boom Shakalaka 200 milligram hash rosin gummies and the high-low 200 milligram live resin. These are absolutely fantastic, guys. I've tried them out myself. They are wonderful. They will get you to where you need to go. Alongside the brand new Mad Packs extracts, these are perfect additions to your summer plans. Learn more at getmadpacks.com. Mad flavor, mad high, Mad Packs.
And let me tell you guys about Art and Jake's. If you guys love Tigers baseball, Woodward sports, we are heading to Art and Jake's in Shelby Township for a Detroit Tigers watch party. Come hang out with the crew as we will be live Wednesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. as the Tigers take on the Chicago Cubs. You won't miss a single pitch with 80 wall-to-wall TVs, 22 draft beers on tap that will keep you refreshed for the whole game. And they have unbelievable food there. So come party with us, grab a Founders, and watch the Tigers take down the Cubs. It's Art and Jake's sports bar setting with the fine dining flavor.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
To brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit. But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
All right, it's time to upgrade your game with the Thrive Energy pouches. Guys, ditch all of the different energy drinks. Ditch all of that and grab yourself a Thrive Energy pouches. They have over 300 milligrams of clean and smart caffeine in them, including alpha GPC and L-theanine. No jitters, no sugar crash, no bloating, none of that. You can find it, you see on the screen there, at dipstop.com. You can use our promo code WSN to get 15% off your entire order, and you can also find them at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. It's Thrive, clean energy, zero distractions. They just effing work.
You guys see this right here? This is the new Buzzin' energy drink from Loom Dispensary. Guys, absolutely fantastic. If you are looking to upgrade your summer, you got to check out Buzzin' from Loom. It's that same smooth THC buzz that you've known to love, but now paired with a clean boost of caffeine from green tea extract made with real fruit juice and zero artificial sweeteners. Buzzin' Energy is bold in flavor, light in calories, and built for long summer days and even longer nights. Try in refreshing peach and raspberry lemonade. I'm a big fan of the peach flavor, just saying. Crack a can, catch a buzz, and keep the good vibes going. Available now at all 40 Loom locations across Michigan. Learn more at loom.com.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports on a Monday, the start of our Detroit Lions Media Frenzy Week. Today we had Birkett, Anthony Bellino, and a lot more to come for the rest of the week. So you're going to want to be tuned in. Jason Cabinda, Danny Rogers tomorrow, Colton Pouncey, Justin Rogers Wednesday, Thursday, Jeremy Reisman, John Macaroon, Chef Geek. I mean, it is just it's a bunch of media personalities, a bunch of talent.
I also got a confirmation for a Friday. I don't know if we want to keep it.
Keep that one in the
we have a confirmation for someone
pocket
on Friday.
So we got a good one Friday as well. So every day, 11 to 1 here on Woodward Sports.
Don't tease me, Booner.
Let's get into this. Throw it up, Caleb. This is what I saw on the in the Twitter sphere. And, people are talking, right? So you see this list. We talked about this throughout the week. So the tweet reads, the Detroit Lions have the most top 10 players at their positions in the league with, 9, I believe it is? 9, according to NFL executives, coaches, and scouts. So we brought up the top 10 list from executives, coaches, and scouts, and the Lions have the most top 10 players at their positions with 9. 9 players made the cut. And the tweet is, the Super Bowl window is far from closed. But that's kind of the conversation I've been seeing from people is, does this combat the Lions window is closed argument? Now, when we have that discussion about the Lions window, my take always goes back to post-2023, around that era, around that time, when you're coming off an NFC Championship game, everyone is on their rookie deals for the most part. Jared Goff's making less money, and you had a lot more money at your disposal, a lot more resources to go all in and make moves. Now, the next season, they got injured, so you can't predict that. That's where I think the window is wide open. I do think the window has shrunk. Do I think they can win with the talent they have? They got a lot of talent. The problem isn't the talent with me. It's the collection of talent. It's how they are. Like on defense, I'll give an example. Aiden Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. Those are 4 players that are on your defense. Ali McNeil when healthy. So when you look on paper, you're saying, wow, you got some really good players on defense. Okay, let's dive into it. Ali McNeil's coming off an ACL injury. We don't know if he'll return to form. Brian Branch is coming off an Achilles. We're curious to see if he looks good. Kirby Joseph has a knee injury that could potentially end his career. Now we're at Jack and Aiden. And then you look at who surrounds these guys. At corner, we just went through it. It's concerning. The D-line, Tyleek, can he step up? There's question marks. Derek Moore, DJ Wanham, who had injury concerns as well. It's Derek Barnes, question marks. Who's going to be the other linebacker? Malcolm Rodriguez, who is it? Nickel, Roger McCreary, there's question marks there. So it's not even about the talent. Because on offense, there's no question they're a great offense. But on defense, the Seahawks didn't have as many All-Pros as the Lions did last year. But they were a way better defense. Why? Because of the collection of talent. It's how they built the defense from top to bottom. It's not about having 3 great players. It's about 11 guys on the field and how they play together. That's what's important, okay? All pros, yes, they are important. But it's about how you surround those guys, which is a big part of it. And really, what's it look like with those guys right now? Which a couple of those guys have injury concerns, or at least you're curious to see what they look like coming off injuries. So there is a lot more context to that tweet, in my opinion. Again, do I think the window is closed? No, but it's harder to win because you have less resources at your disposal. You're paying more players, and it's harder to go make that big move or go and shop in free agency because you have so much money already tied up. So it's much more difficult to win now than it was years ago. So kudos to the Lions. Brad Holmes has drafted some really good players, but it's about what surrounds those good players on defense, and that's where my concern lies on defense. It's always been. We've talked about this consistently.
Yeah. I think it should give people confidence, and I think you're kind of spot on with that. One, it should give everyone confidence, Lions fans, that, hey, you do have a really, really good roster. That's why Dave comes on the show and he says, hey, this is the best roster in the NFC. Right? Obviously the defense needs to get put together, but when you look at the wide receiver room, you have multiple guys that could potentially, and those guys that are on that list, Jeff, what was it, 9? What's the total? Most in the NFL. There's guys that you could argue should be on that list, right? Jamison Williams, obviously top 10, but he was an honorable mention who's just off the list, who just misses it. And there are players like that all the time, right? Tate's probably going to be one of the better guards in the league after this year. He's going to be on that list eventually. You would think in a couple years Blake Miller jumps on that list, right? And you're still building. Realistically, at the end of the day, you could have as many. It's the same thing with the All-Pros. You had 2 on each side of the ball last year. What did that do for you? You missed the playoffs. So it really means nothing at the end of the day. That's why I look at these lists. I think it's awesome for us to talk about. It's awesome for us to be like, hey, we have All-Pro players. You have Pro Bowlers. You have guys that are top 10 at their position. You missed the playoffs last year with those guys still, whether injuries or not. You've had injuries the last 2 or 3 years, and you can't keep using that as an excuse. So I'm kind of out on that. I see some people in the chat saying the same thing. Man, it doesn't really matter if the window's open, closed, how many All-Pros you have, who you have. at the end of the day, you have to go out there and win football games. Because there's teams that go out there, guys, who probably have 5 guys on this list this year, and they win football games and they go to the playoffs and make runs in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're very top heavy, and they're really good is some of the best in the league, but they're really bad is not great, and that's what's going to hurt this team. Like, look at the teams that, like Philly or the Rams, like they have the names, they have the Saquon Barkleys, they had, the Eagles had the AJ Browns, they had the Jalen Hurts, the big names. But it was the other names around them too that helped them succeed. They didn't have a big glaring weakness like this Lions team does. So yeah, we could be happy as Lions fans that we have some of the best players in the league. But like to your guys' point, it's just what players are complementing those superstars on the team. And right now, in my opinion, it's they're just not good enough.
Well, that's what happens too, Jeff. To what you were saying earlier with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, you need an offensive line top to bottom to have even you could have the best running back in the NFL history, and yeah, he's going to do a little damage, but he's for a whole year. Go look at the last 5 or 6 games of Jahmyr Gibbs last year with no O-line. You need to have that. You need it. And if you have all these top-heavy guys and you're paying them $1 billion, to Caleb's point, you don't have. We've had this conversation before. You don't have the right complementary pieces. You just don't. So like these 9 guys, again. I love the fact that Brad stacked this roster, and he's done it through the draft. He's done a hell of a job doing it. I would like to have a roster from 1 to 22, 1 to 30. Guys that if there is injuries, you do have some role pieces that can come in and kind of take over as well. You don't have that right now. You haven't had that in 3 years.
Well, the issue you mentioned, it's not necessarily it's a good problem because you mentioned some of the breakout players that you should look out for. You named offensive players. Like Tate Ratledge, Blake Miller. You're right. Offensive players. Like, anyone want to mention a defensive player? Like, I threw out Keith Abney. He's a rookie, and we got to wait.
Like Tyleek maybe.
Tyleek is a good one, but like you have to hope that these guys take jumps. Like that's the reality of it. Like last year, I know they didn't have Kirby. I know Brian was hurt, but Brian played 12 games. Aleem came back from injury, didn't look like himself, but you had Hutch and Jack, and your defense still couldn't stop the run. Like it's not even about having all pro players. Like it's about building the defense as a whole. And that's where, like, going forward, it's just, it's about the collection of players, to be honest with you. So
to be fair, Jeff, only 2 players on that list are healthy on your defense: Jack Campbell and Aiden Hutchinson going into this year. Because the other 2 guys that were on this list on your defense, Brian Branch Achilles and Kirby Joseph, no one knows. To kind of push that point a little farther.
Yeah,
that's it. You just have your linebacker and your edge rusher. No one else. Offensively, you got Jared, Panay, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Sam. J-Mo was just off the list. You have everyone.
Well, here's the problem I have. So Nate M, appreciate you tuning in. He said, sounds like you guys don't think the Lions can make the playoffs or have success in the playoffs. What's the point of even debating the window? Well, that's incorrect, Nate. We do think the Lions can make the playoffs. Now, success in the playoffs is a different argument. The question is, where you are as a franchise is, can you win the Super Bowl? That's where they're at. And that's where we all want to be. That's where you want to be as a fan. That's where we want to be as people who cover the Lions. That's where you want to be. We're not going to have a debate about whether they can make the playoffs or not. There might be people that don't think they can. I think they can. We all have them. I have them to win the division. I think most people in this room would agree with that. But it's not about winning the division anymore. It's about what do you do in the postseason? Can you win the Super Bowl? And if you believe this is a Super Bowl roster, then God bless you. I just disagree with it. I don't think their defense is good enough, and I've went through it enough times. I sound like a broken record. You need to have a great defense to win a Super Bowl, and they don't, and they never have. You can't have an offense carry you through the playoffs. Like, I could sit up here and lie to you and feed you, positive soup and just be like, yeah, they're going to win the Super Bowl. But my job is to give you my opinion, and I don't think this is a Super Bowl team. I don't. I think they're a playoff team, and anything can happen in the playoffs, but I think the defense is going to be the death of this team. I do.
I agree. I fully agree. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you just got to get in the dance. You just got to get in the dance. If you have to tell yourself that, you don't think this is a Super Bowl roster either. If you have to say, well, if you get in the playoffs, anything could happen. You don't think it's a Super Bowl roster either. If you thought it was, you'd say, I think they could win the Super Bowl. But, yeah, I just think, easy regular season schedule. I think they're going to win, 11, 12 games. I think they're going to be in contention to win the NFC North. But I just think, it's the same thing when I bring up the Pistons thing. Like, they just have huge glaring issues that is going to kill them come playoff time. And I think that's what's going to happen here. But again, do I think this team's going to make the playoffs? Yes, I do. Easy schedule, good roster. But when it comes down to the playoffs, your defense on paper right now, unless we see huge jumps out of some guys, your defense is just not good enough to win a Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, that's the question you have to ask, is not looking at a regular season record or a regular season schedule and being like, yeah, this team can win the Super Bowl. They can win 11, 12 games, but it's about, are you built to win in the playoffs? And to me, a defense is how you win in the playoffs.
The secondary.
It's a tale all this time.
Listen, I've said this is a contending team. I've said it. I have, going into every year, I have 7, 8 teams contending. I think they can have a legit chance to win it every year. But you do have to, even for someone like me who thinks that they're a Super Bowl contending team, they have a roster this year to do it. You could question it, right? Just because you question it doesn't mean you don't think that. There are holes in this roster. The only roster in the NFL right now that doesn't have any holes, it's a Super Bowl contender, it's the Rams. That's it. And it's very rare, let's be honest, it's very rare to find an NFL team that doesn't have holes.
Yeah, no roster is perfect.
Like the Seahawks last year, you went into that year still questioning some different parts of that team, right? Offensive line was a little younger still. D-line was built up, but you still had questions. Maybe JSN had a hell of a year, but was he that JSN even the years before? Kenneth Walker was constantly hurt. They had all those questions. Sam Darnold entering the year at quarterback, they brought him in. Could he do it because he couldn't do it in Minnesota? Every year there's questions. It's about, can you kind of overcome those different holes, and that's where I think for me it's I still think this roster, which you have offensively, can go win you a Super Bowl, and you still have a good kind of a defensive line. Good, you have Jack Campbell healthy wise, you have Brian and Kirby, but realistically outside of that, you have holes in that corner room. You just lost Alex Anzalone, that's a hole. Defensive tackle wise, Jeff, to your point, you stopped the run. That's what your identity is built on. Aleem wasn't great last year. Tyreek is a rookie, so yeah, there's questions. Just because you question these teams doesn't mean you don't think that they can win a Super Bowl, or they can make the playoffs, or they can win a lot of games. That's to me, that's a petty way of thinking of it.
Let's go to break. We come back. We'll get to mailbag. Drop those mailbag questions. I already see them kind of piling in. We got amnesia and gold crown, and then we'll come back and hit massage chair. So talk to us about amnesia, Gordo.
Let me tell you guys about Amnesia. Amnesia is proud to be available at all top dispensaries across Michigan with multiple products for adults 21 and up. Their newest launch is the Switch 2, a 2-gram dual-chamber disposable featuring liquid diamonds. This thing is absolutely fantastic, guys. I've used it quite a bit. You just press one button and you get one flavor. You press the button, you get another flavor. You press it again, you get both at the same time. It's fantastic. It's revolutionary. You got to try it. So, yeah, go ahead and discover your new favorite with the Switch by Amnesia. And let me tell you guys about Gold Crown. Stop everything for a second. Just hold on. Wait. Time out. Gold Crown just completely went overboard in the best way possible. They just dropped the new Royal Jesters, and these are not your average pre-rolls. We're talking 1.5 grams each, and they are quad-infused, keef-coated with live resin-infused THCA diamonds and terpenes all packed in one. Guys, you couldn't ask for a better joint. This is like if the best joint that you've ever smoked did a fusion dance with the second best joint you've ever smoked, and they just became one. It's absolutely fantastic. These are not your hit it twice and pass it around pre-rolls. These are, why am I analyzing the game like a coach type of pre-rolls. And if you are going to go to any dispensary, you got to ask for the Royal Jesters, because if you're going to smoke, why not smoke like royalty?
Jahmyr Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Thrive Energy Pouches give me the energy and clarity to find and beat the shit out of every opportunity that shows its face.
Live and direct, I'm back on set action. Create the wave, we cannonball splash 'em. Mic cord swinging, get your head chopped. Point blank, dead stop. 16 bars in a headlock.
Thrive energy pouches are for the people who actually want to win, not for the crybabies out there who are happy with a participation award. There's zero sugar, so give Thrive a try.
Neil Rule and Sean Belizian wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
Relaxation to the next level. You got to visit Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, the largest massage chair room in the Midwest. Experience the difference with Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, and the creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage chair reviews at the Wellness Doc. Book your visit today at massagechairhouse.com or simply scan the QR code on your screen. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. Get in the mailbag, so drop those mailbag questions. I already saw some earlier pile.
Mailbag.
Actually, I do want to get to Shot. He donated $10. We appreciate you, Shot. He says, every team feels like there are holes in the roster. We are not the exception. Stop acting like every other team is already perfect. Even the Rams felt like they had holes and got Garrett.
Wait, did Shad put that after or before I said what I said?
I think it was like the same time.
Because I legit just said, like, you can't, like, again, for the people who are mad at us because we're pushing against the Lions a little bit, I think it's fair. Again, to my point, every team has holes. Doesn't mean you can't win a Super Bowl, or we don't think you can, or I don't think you can be a contender. You can be a contender with holes. It just depends on where are the holes at. You know, a team that's probably going to finish last in the NFL, guess where their biggest holes probably at? Quarterback, right? Or head coach. Like that's where it is. Right now, you don't have holes at quarterback or edge rusher or running back or receiver. Like the main positions, you don't. It's the main positions on the defensive end of the ball when you're talking about corners and not giving up 500 yards of passing a game.
Do you think, though? Okay, let's slide the Lions into the contending category for a second. Do you think out of the contenders or playoff teams, the Lions have the most glaring, biggest hole out of all of them? Pause. Whoa. But do you think they have the biggest weakness out of all these teams? Like that secondary room, guys, on paper is like, if I'm looking at these other playoff teams, I don't see a weakness as big as that.
Name a couple teams, because then we can like
the Bills, like what?
The Bills, they never have a wide receiver. They don't have wide receiver.
They
ones.
Just traded for DJ Moore. They just made a trade.
They got a bunch of twos. They always have a bunch of twos.
Yeah.
Khalil Shakir's
I think that's where the point is. It's like, okay, the Bills need a wide receiver. They went and got DJ Moore. The Eagles needed an edge. What they got? They traded with the Vikings, got Jonathan Greenard.
Yeah.
The Rams needed they wanted a big-time defensive player. They went and got Myles Garrett.
The Broncos, people were saying they didn't have enough weapons last year.
They went and got Jalen
Waddle.
So teams make moves when they need to. It just feels like, hey.
Ditto. Or is that the word? Or what's the word I'm looking for
Touché,
here?
Maybe.
Touché.
Yeah. Ditto mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Not quite. You almost got it, Booner.
Touché.
Hey, real quick, guys. I wanted to shout out. There's been quite a debate in the comments about pizza, but I just wanted to highlight one thing. Detroit Dabber 313. Your options for pizza in Chicago are either a lasagna deep dish or a dorm room struggle meal on crackers, tavern style. And that is so facts. Like, the only regular pizza that you can find in Chicago is just like the bullshit chain places. There's no normal. I feel like you can barely even consider it pizza.
See now, Gordo, I want pizza. See, this is where we're going with this. I'm a pizza guy, so I'm open to trying all types of pizza. New York pizza is really good too.
And I think that we're, pretty spoiled here in the Metro Detroit area. We got a lot of good pizza options.
Let's see. Benjamin, mailbag. Who mans up first, Duran or Gibbs? Mans up is a crazy way to phrase that.
That is. I wanted to ask him to, like, expand on that, because what do you mean? Like,
yeah, well, I would say it's probably going to be Duran, because you need to sign him now. And so if you want to quantify that as manning up, go ahead. But
I'd say manning up, like, the first thing I thought would be, like, turning your chin away at any kind of, bullshit offer that isn't a max and holding out. But
I think they get the Duran one thing done there. But KJ, mailbag, did you guys watch the Avengers Doomsday trailer this morning?
Yes.
Looks incredible.
Yes.
I'm excited to see
Yes.
him. I think Spider-Man as well comes out. Actually,
Next Thursday.
This next Thursday, is
Yeah.
it? So I'd love to go
The
see that.
31st.
I'm excited for
It looks good, though. I'm excited
Booner,
for it.
I do want to give you credit. We did give you some shit when you said Odyssey was one of the best movies you've ever seen. That's all I'm
Did you see
hearing
it?
No, but
Dude.
I just keep
yeah,
hearing,
I haven't
man.
seen
it's-
it.
I saw it. It's amazing.
I'll say this, hand up, and you know what? Again, I actually hand up a lot. People say, Booner, you're someone that doesn't
You're a
meet
hand-up guy.
I'm a hand
Yeah.
up guy. So I would love the narrative for me to switch from Booner, you never admit you're wrong and you yell, to you are a hand up guy. Hand up. I have put myself in a boy who cries wolf situation with movies because I really love watching movies, going to the movie theater, doing that. And I always I could go see a bad movie. Yeah, I could see a bad movie and it's like the greatest movie. I'm like, this was awesome. And it's just the atmosphere for me. The Odyssey, when I came in the morning, I'm like, guys, this is incredible.
I looked right at you.
This is
We
one of the
definitely
greatest movies
okay.
you'll ever see in theaters in your lifetime. Enjoy it. Make sure you see it in IMAX. And you guys laughed at me. Jeff went and saw it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, what's that little kid on TikTok? That's my favorite.
Yeah, every movie is Booner's favorite.
But this one
he
was
was right about this one. I went and saw it. It's a great movie. It's an excellent movie. It really is. It's
It-
long, but it's not long.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
It's-
It's all 3 hours. Yeah, it's good.
In IMAX, too, is
In
incredible.
IMAX. I watched. You did say he told me to watch in IMAX. I watched in IMAX. He was right. Let's see. Belvard mailbag. As of right now, which Detroit sports team is closest to a ring?
Pistons, probably. Or Lions. One of the two.
Yeah, it's between those two.
I think it Pistons because it takes a lot less. You
Yeah,
need a lot less,
I
and they
would
already
say-
have the
yeah,
most important thing.
I would say
that being
Pistons.
Cade.
Danny G. mailbag. How much will the Bears regress this season and now missing their center and wide receiver? 1. I mean, they did. Regression is inevitable at some point, but I don't think it's going to be the regression people think. They won 12 games. Could they win 10? Yeah.
Oh.
Is that regression? Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be as much as people probably are thinking.
By the way, Dante asked Mailsack, could we get a dose of Dion sighting?
For sure. Yeah,
Maybe we add him to the
He's a busy
roster.
guy, man.
We
had
can
a
hit him
relationship.
up.
Done a lot of stuff with Dion. He's a good friend of ours. But
Yeah.
we'll reach out to him.
We should reach out, Mike or Mike.
Yep, Mike's another.
We're going to
one of
add
ours.
people throughout the week as well. So if there are people, again, just keep putting in there.
Hey, we love promoting creators, man.
Yes.
That's what we owe. We've been consistent ever since we've been on the show together. We promote creators. We have guys on our show. We have no issue giving those guys a platform because there's a lot of great ones. So,
Speaking of promoting creators, make sure you guys go check out Woodward Tigers on
Do it.
YouTube, sub
Woodward
channel.
Tigers.
Let's
We
go.
have post games for every single game, so make sure that you guys tune in.
especially people that want to hear more Tigers, we have platforms for that. Woodward Tigers, they do a great job. Woodward Pistons for Pistons.
Woodward Wings, they do a
Wings,
fantastic job.
Crushing as well.
Yeah, Spenny and Justin, they're
hell, we
killing
got
it.
Woodward Cinema. We got Woodward.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting all types of things cooking right now. Woodward Eats? Come on.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of
Shia LaBeouf's former stunt double
Woodward
on
Cinema.
our Woodward Cinema crew. We have legit insiders in every single Woodward Pistons, Kool-Aid's credentialed, Woodward Tigers.
Legit.
Our guy Nick Koloff is credentialed. We have legit guys giving you content that more specific content that you guys are looking for.
Yep.
So make sure to check out the sub channels.
By the way, I'm getting a lot of pushback from my froyo. Even my family, everyone's like, "What were you
Yeah,
doing?"
you went. I saw you went boba and then some chocolate stuff.
Well, it was
That
the
was pretty gross.
the froyo. It was it was a mixed one. I didn't know it was a mixed one, and it was just supposed to be one type of vanilla, but it was a chocolate with the
But
vanilla
you put
mix.
the boba passion fruit with chocolate.
I know it was but the boba passion fruit was incredible. If you know those,
You like
they'll have
boba?
those. Yeah, it's good.
They're
It's
little. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get
they're
into
good.
it.
I mean, we can be weird all we want, but they're good. They're tasty.
Boba's good.
It's like
With
juice.
chocolate is
I get
crazy
that,
work.
and then also the Kit Kats were good. The straw, everything. I was getting a lot of pushback, guys. I was. It was incredible though.
This has been an incredible show. We appreciate Dave Birkett, Detroit Free Press, Anthony Bellino, WJR, AB Spin on Sports.
Big one tomorrow.
We continue the Detroit Lions Media Frenzy here on Crunch Time on Woodward Sports 11-1. Tune in tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it. Jeff Iafrate, Booner. We got Gordo filling in for KG. We
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
you. Good stuff today, Gordo. KG will be back tomorrow. And then Caleb Zarnick holding the show down as our producer. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Till then,
See
peace.
you guys. Love you guys. Bye.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.